Beginning with a gentle golden wind and light rain, the master of ceremonies, with a single stroke, surprises the world. This video is purely for entertainment, and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting, and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 576 Kenjuan's backup plan. Jinfi Hang's two disciples. Zenwood Garden. After the others left, Kenjuan turned and headed deep into Zenwood Garden. At a rockery, he paused, and when his palms were pressed, a huge deep cave appeared. A cold and gloomy air rushed out from the deep cave. Inside the deep cave, it was dark, with only a faint light. He stepped on the steps leading to the underground, which were made of cold iron, and made a clattering sound. All the way down, there were 3 dungeons in the underground. He walked to one of the dungeons and slowly opened the iron door. Inside the iron door, the space was unusually large. A giant man nearly 3 meters tall sat cross-legged on a stone platform. His face was hideous, and his muscles were like tree roots, emitting a brown light. He saw Kenjuan appear. The big man raised his huge head, looked at Kenjuan with copper bell-like eyes, and said, "Who do you want to kill?" His tone was calm, and it seemed that he knew the purpose of Kenjuan's coming. On the 15th day of the full moon, at Shank Villa, the Evil Alliance wants to attack the Imperial Master. You follow them, and attack with all your strength to kill the Imperial Master. Kenjuan said. Imperial Master, the Evil Alliance wants to attack the Imperial Master. They are really brave. You Zenwood Garden also want to participate in such a thing. The giant said in a deep voice after hearing this. You are not from my Zenwood Garden. After you attack, you will leave the capital immediately. For a while, the physical body experiment is over. After this matter is stable, you will return to the capital, and continue the subsequent experiments. Kenjuan said in a deep voice. I also want to see how strong my physical body is. Hearing Kenjuan's words, the giant man showed a hint of excitement on his face, and slowly said, next full moon 15, about 20 days, you let me out so early, there must be something else. Tell me all, I will help you get rid of the other party in advance. Help me kill a person. This person is Yan Shizun. His appearance is unclear. If you find him, help me kill him. The other party is a sword sea master. Kenjuan said. Yan Shizun, a sword sea master, I have no impression. Hearing this, the man frowned slightly and said. A new force, the killer of the Qinglang Society, is very strong in swordsmanship, but he should not be able to break your Zuanshan Demon God Gang. Kenjuan said. Okay, if I meet him, I will help you kill him. But this time you have to prepare 3 secret medicines for me. The giant man said. 3 portions of secret medicine. You have a big appetite. You are not afraid that your body cannot bear the power of the secret medicine. According to your current physical strength, you can only bear the power of 2 portions of secret medicine in 1 year. Kenjuan looked at the giant and said. This is my business. I will help you do things, and you will help me improve my physical strength to supply secret medicine. The giant said in a deep voice. Okay. You will go to the old place after leaving Zenwood Garden, and they will prepare 3 portions of secret medicine for you. Kenjuan agreed in a deep voice for a moment. Okay. After saying that, the giant closed his eyes and stopped looking at Kenjuan in front of him. Kenjuan said nothing more, turned around and left, and soon left this underground space. At this time, another place Shangwan Jinhang's figure appeared in a dilapidated temple. There were 2 people in the dilapidated temple, one was Jing Wuming, and the other was Bei Chaofi. Congratulations, Brother Bei, for entering the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. Shangwan Jinhang congratulated. Bei Chaofi has entered the 9 difficulties of heaven and man, after receiving the infusion of 10 years of heavenly inner strength. Before planning this, Shangwan Jinhang had already informed Bei Chaofi and Jing Wuming to wait here. Boss Shangwan, with your current background, you can enter the 9 difficulties of heaven and man at any time. Bei Chaofi said. Maybe I can enter the 9 difficulties of heaven and man today. Shangwan Jinhang said. He was 100% confident about entering the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. I have already found out where Jinfi Hang's disciples will meet. Let's go there now. Shangwen Jinhang said. After saying that, he put on his bamboo hat and left the ruined temple. Jing Wuming and Bei Chaofei also put on bamboo hats and followed Shangwen Jinhang out. In a hidden courtyard outside the city, a man in brocade clothes was in the courtyard. The man was 9 feet tall and a bit burly. At this time, his brows were furrowed. What happened to Steward Yang? Why hasn't he come yet? The man in brocade clothes said in a deep voice. He was Yang Xianchen, the eldest disciple of Jin Fihang. He had been outside the capital and managed some money houses. After receiving the secret order, he immediately rushed to the capital. He has been paying attention to the situation in the capital these days. This time when I come back, Master should let me and my junior brother take charge of the money gang. Thinking of this, Yang Xianchen's face showed excitement. Although they are disciples of Jin Fihang, the power of the money gang is not in their hands. When Jin Yuting died before, he thought that they would be sent to the capital, but he didn't expect that Master's wife would come out to preside over the money gang, which prevented them from returning to the capital. This time Master's wife was killed. If the two of them return, they will definitely be able to take charge. Creak. Just as he was thinking in his heart, the door of the courtyard was opened. 3 figures wearing bamboo hats walked in from outside. Young Master, Butler Yang has something to do, so he specially asked me to come and pick you up. I'm Shangwen He. Shangwen Jinhang took off his bamboo hat while speaking. Shangwen He, Butler Yang has something to do. Yang Xianchen's eyes condensed. Shangwen He is one of the 5 stewards of the money gang in the capital, not counting Jing Yi who has just become the 6th steward. As Yang Xianchen has always been concerned about the situation in the capital, he certainly knows Shangwen He, one of the 5 major managers. On the way to the capital, he was studying the 5 major managers in the money gang. Shangwen He is one of the important targets he wants to win over after returning to the capital. Then I'll trouble manager Shangwen, Yang Xianchen said. Then, young master, I still have to wait for the second young master. Let them take you into the gang. Shangwen Jinhang said. Manager Shangwen, I was thinking of asking you about some issues in the capital. How about we go together? Let you take them back. Yang Xianchen heard this and said. He also wanted to have more contact with this manager Shangwen and win him over to become his own man. But he didn't want Shangwen Jinhang to have more contact with Li Jiayu. Butler Yang ordered that, after returning to the gang, I will personally visit the young master, Shangwen Jinhang. Then I will wait for manager Shangwen in the mansion. Yang Xianchen said. Take me back. His tone was somewhat commanding to Jing Wuming and Bei Chaofei. Bei Chaofei waved his hand, and the two took Yang Xianchen away. Shangwen Jinhang sat alone in the courtyard. Not long after, a man in black tights walked into the courtyard. Seeing Shangwen Jinhang sitting on the stone platform in the courtyard, his face changed slightly, but then he seemed to recognize Shangwen Jinhang. Shangwen He, why are you here? Where is Butler Yang? The man asked sternly. This person was Li Jiayu, another disciple of Jin Fihang. Second young master, I'm here to send you off on the order of Butler Yang. Shangwen Jinhang stood up when he spoke. The energy of the 8 difficulties of heaven and man on his body surged out, and his eyes were fixed on Li Jiayu. Haha, you are the only one who wants to send me off. It seems that old man Yang has been bribed by my senior brother. You have also surrendered to my senior brother, but I don't know where you get the confidence to kill me with your strength. Today I will kill you first, and cut off his arm first. Hearing Shangwen Jinhang's words, Li Jiayu's eyes flashed with a trace of cruelty, and the long sword on his waist was drawn. He stepped on the ground and slashed with the long sword in his hand. Chapter 577 Shangwen Jinhang breaks through. All solved, no one left. His figure even turned into a residual image. He instantly appeared in front of Shangwen Jinhang. The knife light suddenly burst out, and the knife energy formed a vortex, covering Shangwen Jinhang. The moves were like a storm, extremely fast and violent. In front of him, Shangwen Jinhang's eyes condensed slightly, and his figure quickly went behind him to avoid the opponent's attack, and kicked the ground with his feet, rushed out, and punched the opponent's chest at an extremely fast speed. The speed was so fast. Li Jiayu turned his long sword and slashed with his backhand. The fist force collided with the ki force, and a terrifying power fluctuation broke out. The two figures retreated a few steps. You have some strength, Shangwen He. I will give you a chance. Surrender to me. My senior brother promised you. I will give you double. Li Jiayu looked at Shangwen Jinhang and said. Just now, although Shangwen Jinhang's strength was in the 8th level of heaven and man, but the ki in his body was strong. He should be able to step into the 9th level of heaven and man soon. If such a person is received by his side, it will be a great help. Shangwen Jinhang did not speak, but stepped out, slapped his palms, and a strong ki energy permeated in his palms. And like wind and thunder, he attacked the opponent. Seeing this, Li Jiayu's eyes turned scarlet, and a ferocious look appeared on his face. I gave you a chance, but you don't want it, so I'll send you to death. Shangwen Jinhang did not accept his recruitment, so he was sent to death. The roar was like thunder, forming a wave of air, and the long sword in his hand slashed out instantly. The fiery blood demon sword. The blood-red knife light turned into a blood-red waterfall, rushing towards Shangwen Jinhang like a tidal wave. The knife light eroded the ki energy in Shangwen Jinhang's palm. Cut off your hands first. The blood-red knife light shattered the palm energy and went towards Shangwen Jinhang's palm. Clang, clang, clang. Just then a sound of metal collision was heard. 2 golden rings appeared in Shangwen Jinhang's palm, blocking the blood-red knife light. Golden ring. Li Jiayu's face changed when he saw the golden ring in Shangwen Jinhang's palm. It was different from the information he had obtained about Shangwen He. The information did not say that Shangwen He had a pair of golden ring weapons. Even if you have hidden something, you will still die. The difference in realm represents the difference in ki power. The ki on his body burst out, and all the ki of the 9 difficulties of heaven and man burst out. One after another, ki brought a strong pressure, and pressed towards Shangwen Jinhang like a tidal wave. Facing this pressure, Shangwen Jinhang also burst out all his ki, and collided with the opponent's ki. Bang! The collision of ki formed a wanton wave of ki that went all around, and the air formed a wave of ki under this wave of ki. I will crush you with ki. Seeing this, Li Jiayu roared, and his ki surged all over his body. He continued to press on Shangwen Jinhang. Under the pressure of the opponent, the ki on Shangwen Jinhang's body gradually cracked. Do you think you can make up for the gap in realm? Li Jiayu's face was ferocious. As long as Shangwen Jinhang's ki was crushed, he would go forward and chop the opponent into pieces. The pressure became greater, and Shangwen Jinhang's ki was consumed very quickly, but at this moment, the ki in his danshan was running rapidly, and the speed of operation was extremely fast. Boom. Under the rapid operation, a more powerful ki appeared in Shangwen Jinhang's danshan. This ki rushed out, and Shangwen Jinhang's momentum changed instantly. From the previous 8 difficulties of heaven and man, he stepped into the 9 difficulties of heaven and man in one fell swoop. You are using me to help you step into the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. Seeing this situation, Li Jiayu's face changed. With a step on the ground, the whole person flew into the air, and the long sword in his hand was as powerful as splitting Huashan. He slashed with the sword. The sword was fierce, and the blood-colored sword energy surged in the long sword, slashing towards Shangwen Jinhang like a substance. A golden light burst out from the golden ring in Shangwen Jinhang's hand. He held the golden ring in both hands, and collided with the long sword. After the blow, he quickly retreated. At the moment of retreating, the golden ring in his hand flew out instantly, turning into a golden light, and heading towards the opponent. Li Jiayu slashed with the long sword. Clang! The sound of metal collision was heard, and the golden light split into 2. It hit Li Jiayu's chest. Li Jiayu retreated violently. However, the golden light split too fast, and Li Jiayu didn't notice it for a while, and the golden ring hit his chest. Bang! The whole person was knocked back several steps by the power of the golden ring, but because the golden ring was hit by the long sword before, the power was somewhat reduced, and it only shattered the opponent's chest ki. However, the explosion of the true ki also caused the blood and ki in his body to surge. His body was a little unsteady, and at this time, Shangwen Jinhang's figure was like a ghost, appearing in front of the opponent, and his palm pressed hard on the opponent's chest. Li Jiayu's body was shaken by this palm and flew backwards. Puff! Blood spurted out of his mouth. After a successful attack, Shangwen Jinhang's retracted golden ring shot out again. Li Jiayu drew his sword to block, but the golden ring circled his long sword and appeared behind him like a turn. Bang! Bang! The golden ring hit his back, causing his body to hit Shangwen Jinhang. Shangwen Jinhang shot out and appeared in front of the opponent and immediately slapped his palm. He slapped his chest 3 times in a row. The powerful energy penetrated into the opponent's body and shattered the opponent's heart. Puff, blood spurted out, and his eyes looked at Shangwen Jinhang unwillingly. You don't have to look at me unwillingly. Your senior brother will go to accompany you later. After saying that, he raised his palm and slapped the opponent's head. Blood spurted out from his head. Then Shangwen Jinhang grabbed Li Jiayu's body and jumped away. On the other side, there was a huge sword mark on the back of the tall Yang Shanshan. Shocking, blood flowed from the sword mark. He stared at Jing Wuming fiercely. If he hadn't noticed it just now, the sword would have cut his whole body in two. What do you want to do? Who are you? Yang Shanshan growled. Butler Yang wants your life. We are just sending you on your way. Jing Wuming said. Butler Yang wants my life. Do you think I will believe it? Yang Shanshan looked at Jing Wuming and said coldly. Although he was looking at Jing Wuming, his mind was focused on Bei Chaofi. Jing Wuming's strength was weaker than Bei Chaofi. Boom. While speaking, Yang Shanshan stepped on the ground and punched Jing Wuming angrily. The huge blood and strength gathered together and went towards Jing Wuming like a wave of fire. Jing Wuming's eyes condensed and his body retreated rapidly. The powerful force in front of him destroyed everything. The rocks shattered and a huge chasm formed on the ground. But Jing Wuming was very fast and dodged the punch. Of course, Jing Wuming also felt a sense of pressure. The opponent's punch was overbearing. While Jing Wuming was on guard, Yang Shanshan turned and flew towards Bei Chaofi. Roar! The long howl turned into a sound wave that enveloped Bei Chaofi. After the long howl, his figure also shot out, and the energy in his fist was like a whirlwind. Although he was seriously injured, Yang Shanshan's mind was not at all chaotic. He just made a move against Jing Wuming. In fact, the ultimate goal was Bei Chaofi. As long as he could suppress Bei Chaofi with a punch, he would have time to turn around and escape. Swish. It was just that Bei Chaofi's finger penetrated the punch like a sharp blade and pierced through the palm like an iron arm. Ah! Yang Shanshan screamed when his palm was pierced. At this time, Jing Wuming moved his body, drew his sword in an instant, and the sword light chopped out, splitting the screaming Yang Shanshan in two. Chapter 578 Mirren King Chen requested that Deputy Supervisor Lan Jia Cheng's life. As night fell, Jin Fihang sat on a chair in the meeting hall with a gloomy face. After he came back, he was waiting for Butler Yang to come back with his 2 disciples, but he never waited. He had a premonition that something unexpected had happened. So he sent people to investigate outside the city. As time went by, Jin Fihang could not sit still. He stood up and prepared to leave the meeting hall. When he stood up, a figure walked in from outside. It was Gao Silan, the only female steward among the 5 stewards. Boss, something happened. I took people to investigate the place you told me and found blood stains and scenes of fighting. And we also found a scene of fighting not far away, and there was more blood there. Gao Silan, who came in, said solemnly. It seems that something happened to my 2 disciples and Butler Yang. Who is targeting me? The Money Gang. Is it me, the Money Gang, or the Zhenwu Garden? Jin Fihang said in a deep voice. If he thought that the other party was targeting them, the Money Gang. But he doesn't think so now. Because someone is targeting Zhenwu Garden now. Gao Silan, who was below him, heard Jin Fihang's words and her face changed. She didn't know who Jin Fihang asked her to find, but she understood the meaning of the words just now. Butler Yang should be going to pick up the 2 disciples of the gang leader. Judging from the current situation, it should be a dangerous situation. You go back first. Jin Fihang waved his hand. Now things are completely beyond his expectations. He is not going to move. Prepare to wait for Zhenwu Garden to make a move together and kill Yan Shizhen first. Yes. Gao Silan bowed and left. After Gao Silan left, Jin Fihang pondered. I don't know if Yan Shizhen will attack me. If he attacks me, we can surround and kill him. But judging from the opponent's goal, the opponent doesn't seem to have the intention of attacking me. Judging from the scene where the opponent killed Zenwu Garden, Shi Hanzhao, if the opponent did not fight him head on and assassinated him secretly, even if he could dodge a blow, he would definitely be seriously injured. In other words, the opponent has the ability to kill himself, but does not kill him. So Jin Fihan felt that the other party just wanted to lead the matter to Zenwu Garden. At this time, in another place, in the main hall of Xianjianxi, Mirren Qingchen looked at the information in front of her with a serious look. The person in the information was Yan Shizhen of Qinglang Society. Although Yan Shizhen killed many people, no one had ever seen Yan Shizhen's face, so the information in her hand did not have a portrait of Yan Shizhen. People from Qinglang Society appeared and confronted people from Zenwu Garden. What do they want to do? Should we write a letter to ask Su Chen? He is the young leader of Qinglang Society. He must know something. Kwei on the side said. Qinglang Society is a killer organization. They kill people for money. Now the situation in the capital is changing. It's time for them to come to the capital. The business in the capital is good now. I go to ask him. He won't tell me. Mirren Qingchen shook his head. But now they have killed Shi Hanzhao of Zenwu Garden. Shi Hanzhao has some relationship with Qin Juan, the general manager of Zenwu Garden. Whether it is to maintain the reputation of Zenwu Garden or to avenge Shi Hanzhao, Qin Juan will definitely take action against Yan Shizhen. Now Zenwu Garden is not only looking for Yan Shizhen, but also asking other intelligence organizations to provide Yan Shizhen's whereabouts. Once found, I'm afraid that the people of Zenwu Garden will surround and kill Yan Shizhen. At this time, if we help Yan Shizhen, I think Yan Shizhen should be able to be used by us temporarily, and then the lady can do more things. Kwei continued. It can help us, but do you think the strong man who concentrates his spirit in the sea can drive us? But this matter also needs some understanding. Tomorrow I will go to visit Bei Chaofei at Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower to see if he knows anything. Mirren Qingchen said. Bei Chaofei. When Kwei heard Mirren Qingchen mention Bei Chaofei, her face moved slightly. She put a lot of things on Su Chen. Forget about Bei Chaofei, who still has some relationship with Su Chen in the capital. However, Bei Chaofei of Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, although relying on the eldest prince, does not have a strong master sitting in charge, so now he is also suppressed and has not developed well. This Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower seems to have been abandoned by Xianaya Pavilion. So for a while, she did not pay attention to Bei Chaofei of Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. Bei Chaofei's Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower is weak now. If it weren't for the strong man from Xianaya Pavilion, I'm afraid it would have been swallowed up by others. I guess he doesn't know anything. Kwei said. Let's talk about it when we meet Bei Chaofei tomorrow. Recently, many powerful assassins from outside the capital have come to the capital. Do you think they are here for Emperor Wu Hao or for other reasons? Mirren Qingchen said. The bounty on Marquis de Wu is too high, but to kill Marquis de Wu, we don't need to go to the capital to kill him. It's the same to kill him outside the capital. If Marquis de Wu is killed in the capital, if something happens to him, the military will probably not let him leave the capital. Kwei said in a deep voice. So I feel something is wrong. You should go to see the deputy supervisor and ask him to investigate it secretly. Mirren Qingchen said. Yes. Kwei accepted the order. The next day, the capital seemed a little quiet. Bei Chaofei was in the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. His own strength has reached the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. As long as he finds some natural treasures, he should be able to step into the Danshan transformation seal level. In addition, the master sent 3 masters. 2 of them are at the Danshan transformation seal level. They said that they can assassinate the sea concentrated strongman together. As long as he waits for these 3 people to arrive, he can be more relaxed in doing things. Master, someone is visiting outside the building. This is the other party's nameplate. A disciple walked in from outside and bowed to hold up a jade plate. The jade card was engraved with the word Mirren. Please come in. Bei Chaofei looked at the jade card and said immediately. After a while, Mirren Qingchen appeared in front of Bei Chaofei. Miss Mirren, please sit down. Bei Chaofei greeted. To make a long story short, I came here this time to ask you to help me contact Yan Shizhen of the Qinglang Society, and I will pay a bounty to help me kill someone. Murong Qingchen did not sit down, but said so. Miss Murong, I can't contact Yan Shizhen, and it's a bit difficult to ask him to kill someone. Bei Chaofei shook his head. Yan Shizhen has already hidden himself and temporarily cut off contact with them. Because Yan Shizhen not only wants to kill Emperor Wu Hao, but also has to go to Shiank Villa on the 15th day of the full moon. These two things are very difficult things. He needs to improve his spirit, so he will not take action for the time being. Is that so? Murong Qingchen showed disappointment on her face. She originally wanted Yan Shizhen to help her kill Lan Jiacheng, the deputy chief of the Xianjian division. Miss Murong, if you can wait, I can help you contact the Qinglang Society and ask them to send another assassin. Who do you want to kill? Bei Chaofei said. Lan Jiacheng, the deputy chief of the Xianjian division. His strength is in the sea. Bei Chaofei knew her dilemma, so she said it directly. Chapter 579, Zhenwu Garden, Kan Junmo, Pang Tong, the eldest son of Grand Master Pang. Bei Chaofei's eyes condensed, and he felt a little melancholy. Nowadays, there are many strong people who can concentrate their spirits in the sea. Although he has been promoted to the 9 difficulties of heaven and man, he is still far behind the strong people who can concentrate their spirits in the sea. He needs to find a way to let himself step into the sea to concentrate his spirit. However, it is not so easy to step into the sea to concentrate your spirit. The danshan turning into the sea can be achieved by improving the qi in blood. But the sea to concentrate your spirit requires the concentration of divine power to achieve it, and few people can reach the sky in one step. Guan Qi got a 10,000-year-old blood frog outside the Great Wall, and his strength was improved to the danshan turning into the sea, but he did not condense the divine power. This is also the case. He needs to hone his divine power before he can step into the sea to concentrate his spirit. After a slight loss of consciousness, Bei Chaofei said, for ordinary strong people who concentrate their spirits in the sea, the Qinglang Club quoted 2 million taels of silver. Lan Jiacheng's identity is special, so the price is estimated to be higher. Although Su Chen has a friendship with Murong Qingchen, the fees that should be charged still need to be charged. This is 2 million taels of silver notes, which is my deposit. Murong Qingchen did not intend to let Qinglang Hu make a move for nothing. As a member of the royal family and the Murong family, she was not short of silver notes. Miss Murong, there is one thing I don't quite understand. There are so many changes in the capital now. Why didn't the royal family suppress it strongly? Bei Chaofei said. The royal family is absolutely extraordinary and is fully capable of suppressing the current situation in the capital. But the royal family did not move, so Bei Chaofei wanted to get some information from Murong Qingchen. Yes, but I haven't received an order. Can you tell Lord Bei? I have already told Lord Bei. Goodbye, I'll wait for Lord Bei's news. In order to avoid trouble, Murong Qingchen did not stay in Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower for long. After Bei Chaofei sent Murong Qingchen away, he returned to the house and then showed a solemn look on his face. He could hear something from Murong Qingchen's words just now. There was no order. Who didn't give an order? It could only be Emperor Zhao of the Great Zhao dynasty. What is our Emperor Zhao planning? Bei Chaofei thought to himself. No matter what he is planning, the capital will have a big change. I must improve my strength again, as soon as possible. Bei Chaofei came to a file. The file contains information about some precious medicines. However, the information about these treasures all has their owners, so it is difficult to obtain them. It seems that I still need to discuss it with gang leader Shangwen and brother Muren. Bei Chaofei said, after thinking for a moment. The capital has changed. The 3 of them must improve their strength. On the other side, Shangwen Jinhan came out of the secret room with a smile on his face. When he intercepted Li Jiayu before, he took advantage of Li Jiayu's pressure to step into the 9 difficulties of heaven and man, but his own aura had not been completely restrained. After returning, he entered the secret room to consolidate. I got a piece of news. A piece of news that may be beneficial to you, or it may be more troublesome. Madam Yu walked to Shangwen Jinhang and said, well, tell me. Shangwen Jinhang said, I got a piece of information from Butler Yang, that is, Jin Fihang has a background in Zhenwu Garden. He has actually been serving Kan Junmo, the eldest disciple of the Zenwu Garden, and 20% of the Money Gang's profits are sent to Kan Junmo. Through this relationship, Jin Fihang became the manager of the Money Gang. Madam Yu said. Kan Junmo. Although this person is the eldest disciple of Zenwu Garden, there is very little information about him. I didn't expect that Jin Fihang's backer in Zenwu Garden was actually him. Does Butler Yang have a way to contact Kan Junmo? Shangwen Jinhang said. Butler Yang has no way to contact Kan Junmo. He just sent the things that should be sent to Beixiang Pavilion and handed them over to Madam Ningxiang, the head of Beixiang Pavilion. However, according to Butler Yang's guess, the real owner of Beixiang Pavilion should be Kan Junmo. Madam Yu said. Beixiang Pavilion, Madam Ningxiang. Do you think that, if we continue to give benefits to Kan Junmo, after we take down Money Gang, will he recommend me to become the manager of Zenwu Garden? Shangwen Jinhang said. Boss, you want to become the steward of Zenwu Garden, but if Kan Junmo just wants the benefits, we may be able to succeed. Now I have learned from Butler Yang how to get rid of the traces of the scent bugs. After I get rid of the traces, I will help you to contact Madam Ningxiang. Madam Yu said. Try it out first. Shangwen Jinhang nodded. Being able to enter Zenwu Garden can help the master to investigate the situation of Zenwu Garden. If you can't enter, at most you will be an enemy of Zenwu Garden. What's more, he has a backup plan, that is the 12th prince. Through Murong Fu's continued contact with the 12th prince, he believes that Zenwu Garden at this time will not want to become the enemy of the 12th prince. While they were talking, a disciple walked in. Master Steward, someone outside wants to see you. Do you know who it is? The person is wearing a bamboo hat and can't be seen clearly. He just said that he wanted to see the Master Steward and said that he could help the Master Steward. The disciple who walked in said, please let him in. Shangwen Jinhang frowned slightly, but he also wanted to see who the other person was. Madam Yu left the backyard. After a while, a person was brought into the hall. You go down first. Shangwen Jinhang waved his hand, and the disciple withdrew. Your Excellency should show your true face. Shangwen Jinhang looked at the other person and said, of course. The man wearing a bamboo hat took off his bamboo hat, revealing a thin face and mouse-like eyes. It was the man in brocade robe who had previously sent the purple python beast to Chu Xianba to refine the mind-condensing pill. Huang Xiangxing. Shangwen Jinhang's eyes condensed. He didn't expect this person to come to see him. Huang Xiangxing was the manager of the residence of Master Pang. He had been in contact with Chu Xianba of Chu Xiantang. It can be said that Chu Xiantang is actually one of the assets of the Pang family. He didn't expect such a person to come to him. I didn't expect that Shangwen would pay attention to me. It's an honor. Huang Xiangxing's face was calm when he spoke. It was not surprising that Shangwen Jinhang could recognize him. Huang Guan, you should go to Chu Xiantang instead of my Golden Money Gang. Shangwen Jinhang said. Shangwen Guan, I came here to give you an opportunity. Our young master wants to meet Shangwen Guan. Huang Xiangxing said. Shangwen Jinhang's eyes condensed when he heard it. The young master Huang Xiangxing mentioned could only be Pang Tong, the eldest son of Grand Tutor Pang. Grand Tutor Pang was the Grand Tutor. Now Golden Money Gang and Chu Xiantang are at loggerheads. If I meet young Master Pang, I'm afraid I will be eliminated by the gang leader later. Shangwen Jinhang said in a deep voice. We know what the steward Shangwen is worried about. Actually, I'm here on behalf of our eldest son. He wants to support you to become the leader of the Money Gang. With the support of our eldest son, you don't need to worry about what will happen to Jin Fihang. Huang Xiangxing looked at Shangwen Jinhang. Ever since Chu Xianba died, he has been looking for someone to deal with Jin Fihang. In the end, Shangwen he was chosen. Shangwen he became one of the 5 stewards in a very short time. It can be said that this person is very ambitious. Ambitious people can cooperate as long as they are given enough benefits. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. we cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 580, The Opportunity to Kill Jin Fihang, The Gathering of Assassins, The Ancient Twin Demons. Hearing Huang Xiangxing's words, Shangwen Jinhang frowned slightly, but this proposal is very beneficial to him. The leader of the Money Gang is the leader Jin. As long as the leader Jin is alive, the Money Gang will never change its leader. When Shangwen Jinhang spoke, his eyes looked at Huang Xiangxing. Huang Xiangxing saw the meaning of Shangwen Jinhang's words. Shangwen, he meant that Jin Fihang was still alive and not dead. But his tone was that he hoped Jin Fihang would die. Sure enough, he is ambitious. I wonder who will be the next leader of the Money Gang. Huang Xiangxing said. He was testing Shangwen Jinhang to see Shangwen Jinhang's reaction. No one should be able to compete with me for the next leader, Shangwen Jinhang said. There was a strong sense of confidence in his tone. Yeah. Hearing Shangwen Jinhang's words, Huang Xiangxing thought to himself, Shangwen, he is so confident. It seems that he has a hidden hand in the Money Gang. Shangwen manager is very confident, so I will speak in a veiled way. Jin Fihang, we can cooperate, but in the future, the Money Gang needs to hand over a certain amount of benefits to the eldest son. Huang Xiangxing said. The Money Gang has a lot of money bank business, which is a very large treasury. Manager Huang, do you think that after the leader Jin is gone, the Money Gang will hand over less benefits to the young master? And I forgot to tell Manager Huang that I have been cooperating with the 12th prince, Shangwen Jinhang said. Sometimes, you still have to throw out something. If you don't throw out anything, then some people will be self-righteous and push their luck. What's more, you have to let them know that there are people behind him. Although he hasn't contacted Kan Junmo yet, it doesn't stop him from arguing. Hearing Shangwen Jinhang, Huang Xiangxing's eyes condensed. He didn't expect that Shangwen he would involve the 12th prince, and he knew that the person behind Jin Fihang was Kan Junmo. Moreover, he just learned this news from the eldest son today. I will go back and tell the eldest son that the Money Gang is so big, Manager Shangwen should choose more allies. Huang Xiangxing said. I also hope to have more allies, so that the leader of the Jin Gang can rest better. Shangwen Jinhang said. Manager Shangwen, I understand what you mean. I will convey your meaning to the eldest son. I believe we can definitely cooperate. Huang Xiangxing said, and then said goodbye to Shangwen Jinhang and left. Things are unexpected. He needs to report to the eldest son immediately. After Huang Xiangxing left, Madame Yu came out from the back. I didn't expect that the Money Gang just showed a decadent look, and so many people came up to want to take a piece of it. I know Pang Tong, he is cruel and ruthless, and he will not give up until he achieves his goal. He has set his eyes on the Money Gang, and he will not give up so easily. Madame Yu said in a deep voice. First use them to take down Jin Fihang. If they are not good at eating in the later stage, I'm not afraid of them. Shangwen Jinhang said coldly. Hearing Shangwen Jinhang's words, Madame Yu forgot the power behind him for a moment. The reputation of Xian'ai Pavilion, Shifen General Guan Yushan has spread to the capital. She believes that the South Pavilion of Xian'ai Pavilion must not be weak. But the appearance of Pang Tong has given me an idea. Jin Fihang doesn't need to stay for too long. Shangwen Jinhang's eyes flashed with coldness when he said this. Previously, Jin Fihang was kept because he wanted to use him to better control the Money Gang and see if he could get in touch with Zenwood Garden. Now that Pang Tong has appeared, he has a chance. Jin Fihang's death has a reason to die. Now that Emperor Wu Hao and the Full Moon 15 incident, I'm afraid that many assassins have come to the capital. As long as they can afford it, I believe Jin Fihang will also be killed. At this time, outside the city, two figures appeared. The two figures were one tall and one short, wearing masks on their faces, and their appearances were not clear. But they exuded a terrifying dark aura. Brother, what are we doing in the capital so early? The tall man spoke. What? Of course, I'm doing the assassin business. Isn't there a bounty from Emperor Wu Hao now? What does this bounty mean? It means that the capital is in chaos. The capital used to be a forbidden area, but it is not now. Yan Shizan of the Qinglang Society has become famous in the capital. We brothers can do the same. The short man said. But brother, aren't we here to participate in the 15th day of the full moon and the siege of the Emperor's master? The tall man said. Is the Emperor's master so easy to kill? The 15th day of the full moon, we all know the 15th day of the full moon, Shiang Mountain Villa. Do you think the Emperor doesn't know? That level is not something new, and I can participate in. Only those people can take on this kind of work. If we go, we will just be cannon fodder. The short man said. Brother, don't we participate? Participate. This is a grand event in the assassin world. If we show our faces, it can also increase the popularity of our two brothers. The short man said. When he finished speaking, his eyes turned cold and looked towards a place. Who are you? Come out. Ancient twin demons. I have no hostility. A figure walked out from the darkness. Hepping, the director of Shiansheng Hall. It's you. What's the matter with you appearing here? The leader of Yanshan Twin Demons said. Of course I want to do business with you two. I have contacted dozens of assassins to deal with Emperor Wu Hao together. The reward offered by Emperor Wu Hao is shocking, and you two will definitely be interested. Shiansheng Hall director Hepping said. I heard that Emperor Wu Hao led people to search your Zenwu Garden. You should unite with other assassins to deal with Emperor Wu Hao. If Emperor Wu Hao knows, he will probably search your Zenwu Garden again. Yanshan Twin Demons said with a sneer. It's better not to say some things to you two. If you two are not interested, I will take my leave. Guan Hepping looked at the two and said. It's just a joke. Of course we brothers are willing to do it. We brothers are willing to share so much silver. Then follow me, two of you. Guan Hepping said and turned to leave. Let's go. The leader of Yanshan Twin Demons looked at Guan Hepping's back and followed him. We came here to do business. Otherwise why would we come to the capital from such a long distance? After a while, Guan Hepping brought the two people to a secret manor. There were already more than a dozen assassins in the manor. Among these people, there was only one woman who wore a half mask on her face, revealing a very beautiful face. She sat alone at a table. Others stayed away from this person. It can be seen that this woman is not simple. The others also looked after themselves and did not have any conversation. Assassins. No friends are needed. When Guan Hepping brought the Yanshan Twin Demons into the manor, dozens of eyes looked at the Yanshan Twin Demons. Yanshan Twin Demons. I didn't expect them to come to the capital in advance. Some people thought to themselves. The Yanshan Twin Demons entered the house and their eyes also scanned the surroundings, and then they also condensed slightly. These dozen people, at least in the 8 difficulties of heaven and man. There was one person whose stanchion turned into a sea. Poison fairy. Finally, his eyes fell on the woman wearing a half mask. Although her strength was only in the 9 difficulties of heaven and man, she was unparalleled in using poison, and their brothers had suffered at the hands of Poison Fairy. Chapter 581 The mysterious second leader of the evil alliance, Su Chen enters the 8 difficulties of heaven and man. Master Guan, you have a lot of people here, but it's impossible for these people to kill Emperor Wu Hao. The leader of the Yanshan Twin Demons said. Emperor Wu Hao, the first war marquis of the Great Zhao, has the strength of concentrating in the sea. There is not a single person concentrating in the sea here. Although the two brothers can fight against the sea concentrating together, they can only fight, escape, and kill, unless those who rely on some special drugs to step into the sea concentrating and hurt their foundation can be killed. Emperor Wu Hao, there are people to deal with him, so you don't need to take action, not to mention that some more people will be invited. Guan Hepping beside him said. Is that so? Then we brothers will also participate. The leader of the Yanshan Twin Demons nodded. Master Guan, when to take action, you should give us a time, otherwise I can't wait too long. When Guan Hepping's voice fell, the voice of the Poison Fairy sounded in the house. Within a day, Guan Hepping said. If the time is longer, Emperor Wu Hao will definitely know that they are gathering, and at that time, I'm afraid that the precautions will be stricter, and it will be more difficult to kill Emperor Wu Hao. I don't know what the general manager has prepared. Guan Hepping thought. Originally, he wanted to create some trouble for Emperor Wu Hao. He didn't really want Emperor Wu Hao to die, but yesterday, he met with the general manager again. The general manager said that someone would kill Emperor Wu Hao and asked him to find someone to suppress the other people in Emperor Wu Hao's mansion. According to the current situation, at least one Danshan Huahei realm strongman is needed. Guan Heping didn't stay here for long, turned around and left. He still had to continue looking for people. At this time, Emperor Wu Hao and Keijing were sitting opposite each other in a secret room. The noise is a bit loud. Zhenwu Garden may want your life and is gathering some people to attack you. And King Langhu, Yan Shizhen, may also attack you. This person is very dangerous. Keijing said in a deep voice. It seems that you asked him to kill Shi Hanzhao. Emperor Wu Hao looked at Keijing and said, I originally wanted to draw the attention of Zhenwu Garden to King Lang Club, but I didn't expect that Shi Hanzhao couldn't even block their sword. How do you think Qin Juan will attack you? Use the Sea Concentrated Masters. Keijing said. It could be something else. Zhenwu Garden is more terrifying than I thought. When I was about to enter the backyard, 2 Sea Concentrated Masters locked onto me. Qin Juan was right next to me at the time. And those 2 auras were very strange. They were not the Sea Concentrated Masters of Zhenwu Garden that we knew before. You and I want to attack Zhenwu Garden and get Zhenwu Secret Solution and Zuanwu in a pill from them. I'm afraid it's impossible. Emperor Wu Hao said. Now there is no need for a direct confrontation. King Lang Club may be able to help us open this gap. They take money to do things and we can pay to kill people. Kill Qin Juan. Keijing said. No need. Just as Keijing's voice fell, a voice appeared in the secret room. A figure walked out from the darkness. The man was covered by a large black robe and a mask on his face, revealing only a pair of deep eyes. When the 15th day of the full moon comes to kill the Emperor's master, Zhenwu Garden will be in chaos. You can enter Zhenwu Garden and find Zhenwu Secret Solution and Zuanwu in a pill, the man said. Why would Zhenwu Garden be in chaos? Keijing frowned slightly. Don't you always want to know who I am? Look at who I am. The man in black robe slowly took off the mask, but after taking it off, he put it back on. Keijing and Emperor Wu Hao showed horror in their eyes. You are. Keijing finished speaking. I came here to tell you that the capital cannot be disrupted for the time being. Everything is going according to plan. However, Wu Hao, you have to be careful. The assassins can't kill you. Du Guwei may kill you personally. You are not Du Guwei's opponent, so arrange your substitute as soon as possible to die for you. Once the substitute dies, you can truly act as the leader of the evil alliance and turn the situation from passive to active. What's more, Du Guwei will feel very distressed for such a large sum of money. After saying this, the visitor turned and left. He didn't stay here. I really didn't expect it. It's really cruel. Keijing looked at the leaving figure and murmured in his mouth. I didn't expect that your previous guesses were wrong. Since he said so, it means that I'm really not Du Guwei's opponent. I originally wanted to fight with Du Guwei. Wu Hao sighed, turned and left from another secret room, leaving Keijing alone in the secret room. I really didn't expect that Keijing, would also make mistakes. Keijing sighed and left. From the tone of their voices, it can be seen that the person is someone they have never thought of, nor would they have thought of. At this time, in a secret room in the Mountain River Gate in Lingnan County, Su Chen's eyes turned red, and the true energy in his body was boiling like boiling water, and his heart was beating like a war drum. If it weren't for Su Chen's strong physical strength, the boiling true energy in his body would probably tear his body apart and burst out. Su Chen absorbed the yin qi from Zhao Xiaodi. Of course, he didn't use the dual cultivation technique, but swallowed it violently, allowing Zhao Xiaodi to guide the pure yin qi in her body into his body. He was afraid that the people behind the Paradise Palace would leave tricks on Zhao Xiaodi and the others. When he was practicing dual cultivation with Zhao Xiaodi, he might be caught unknowingly. At first, it was fine, and it slowly merged with the true energy in his danshan. But after the last trace of yin qi entered his body, it suddenly broke out and collided violently with the true energy in his body. This collision caused the true energy in his danshan to shake constantly and finally formed a huge wave vortex. When the vortex appeared, his true energy began to flow rapidly. This led to the current situation. He had been unable to suppress the qi in his body. Su Chen began to circulate the qi and blood in his body to suppress the flow of this qi. Qi and blood appeared, suppressing the rapid flow of qi. Although it was slow, it also put a load on his body. His bones began to be hammered, and waves of pain came from Su Chen. Vajra crack demon. Su Chen roared. At this moment, his body began to grow taller, his bones became thicker, and his muscles all over his body were knotted and expanded one by one. A hot force like a volcano burned in his body. This was the burning of qi and blood. With the control of qi and blood, the qi in his body began to become more peaceful. Gradually, the qi began to calm down, and the qi and blood calmed down. However, at this moment, the fierce breath of the Vajra crack demon on Su Chen was stronger than before, more fierce, and closer to a fierce beast. Ha, ha. The breath was calm. Su Chen's eyes returned to calm. He restrained his own breath, and changed his clothes again. Obtained the pure yin qi cultivated by Zhao Xiaodi. Reward 1 orange lottery card. Su Chen's face did not change after receiving an orange lottery card as a reward, but became solemn. Bei Chao Fei has not experienced this, but when I absorb it like this, my true qi will riot. It seems that the other party should prevent others from absorbing pure yin true qi like this. I have time to check whether Bei Chao Fei has anything left by the other party. Su Chen thought to himself, and then checked his own strength, with a happy look on his face. This time, he absorbed Zhao Xiaodi's pure yin true qi, which raised his strength to the 8th level of heaven and man. Of course, the most important thing is that his physical body has also been tempered. Now I'm afraid that even warriors of the 9th level of heaven and man may not be able to move him. Chapter 582 Zeman Chugsu, the flowerless monk. Coming out of the secret room. Zhao Xiaodi was outside the secret room, looking at Su Chen with some resentment in her eyes. Her face and figure were both first class, but Su Chen did not touch her, but just asked her to transfer all her pure yin qi to his body. After transferring the qi, she came out of the secret room, not knowing what happened inside. Now seeing Su Chen coming out, she immediately stepped forward to congratulate. Congratulations to Master Su for your improvement in strength. I wonder if you can tell me the 9 yin heavenly cicada technique you practiced. Su Chen looked at Zhao Xiaodi and said he wanted to see if he could find some other clues from this technique. Hearing Su Chen's words, Zhao Xiaodi's expression was slightly startled, and then she seemed to understand something. Is there a problem with my pure yin qi? Yes. Su Chen nodded. I'll copy it for you. Zhao Xiaodi was also shocked when she saw Su Chen nod, and immediately prepared to copy it for Su Chen. After copying, come to my courtyard. By the way, let me talk about the matter of Yugu Yaoji. Zhao Xiaodi has fulfilled her promise. He naturally had to complete what he had promised the other party. Okay. Zhao Xiaodi turned and left. As for Su Chen, he returned to his own courtyard. In the courtyard, Su Chen had just sat down when Zhu Zhengwo walked in from outside. Master, there is something unusual happening in Qinglang Temple. Unusual? Su Chen frowned slightly when he heard this. 3 monks from Dashan Temple, one of the 4 major ancestral temples of the Buddhist Tantric sect, have come and are now in Qinglang Temple. Zhu Zhengwo said. Do you know the purpose of their coming? It is impossible to investigate. Qinglang Temple is in the stage of closing the mountain, and our people cannot enter to investigate. However, I have sent people to Dashan Temple in Tingshao area to investigate. Let's see if we can find out anything from Dashan Temple. Zhu Zhengwo said. Pay close attention. Has Elder Zhao come out of retreat? Su Chen thought that he had not seen Zhao Kyushu recently, and it was Zhu Zhengwo who had been in charge of the affairs of the 9 northern counties. He has come out of retreat, but some time ago, when Elder Zhao was out, he got a root of heavenly heart bamboo, which overlapped with his forget love heavenly book, so he went into retreat again. But according to what Elder Zhao said, if he comes out of retreat this time, he may step into the sea to concentrate his mind. Zhu Zhengwo said. At this point, Zhu Zhengwo's eyes showed envy. Recently, he has also been looking for some spear skills and some treasures to improve his strength, but there are too many things in the 9 northern counties, so he can't improve with all his strength. Now he has reached the 6 difficulties of heaven and man. Is that so? Su Chen was surprised when he heard Zhu Zhengwo's words. Zyokyoshu's Forget Love Heavenly book. The top martial arts in the book are very strange, focusing on realm, feeling, mood, and momentum. Only those who are proficient in piano, chess, calligraphy, painting, poetry, music theory, extreme emotion, and martial arts talent can learn it. Therefore, heroes who appear once in a few hundred years may not be able to cultivate because of insufficient talent. This technique itself focuses on realm, momentum, feeling, and attitude. If Zyokyoshu breaks through, he can really step into the sea and concentrate. He is indeed one of the 4 top masters in Wenshu, Chen exclaimed. Then he thought of Guan Qi. Although Guan Qi and Zyokyoshu were weak in the early stage, the strong will continue to become stronger. Mr. Zuge, how is the training of your subordinates? Now that our foundation has become stronger, some things can be let go, and you can practice with all your strength. Chen said. The subordinates understand. I have completed the structure of the 9 northern counties, and I have also trained some subordinates. It's time for them to do something. Zhuge Zhengwo said. The 2 then talked for a few words, and Zhuge Zhengwo took his leave. Chen sat down on the stone platform in the courtyard. Check your current lottery cards. There are a few lottery cards, plus an orange lottery card obtained from Zhao Xiaodi, so there are only 2 now. Click to draw. Congratulations on obtaining the character, Zeman Chuksu, character, Wuhua Monk. 2 characters came at once, one is Zeman Chuksu, and the other is Wuhua Monk. Chen was delighted. Needless to say, Zeman Chuksu is a character known as the Sword God in the legend of Lu Xiaofeng, especially the battle with Yi Gucheng in the Imperial City. It can be said that everyone knows him. Wuhua Monk, a character in Chu Liu Xiang's novel. He is the son of Shi and Feng Shishilang and Shi Guanyin, and is also a famous scholar in Buddhism. Not only is his poetry, lyrics, calligraphy, painting, tea ceremony, etc. wonderful, but his martial arts is also the best among his peers in Shaolin. He is known as the 7 Wonderful Monks. Some famous families in the world are proud to invite him as a guest. Chen checked the information of the 2 people. Zeman Chuksu's strength is to concentrate in the sea, with the note broken. Wuhua Monk's strength is to transform the Danshan into the sea, also with the note broken. Beijing Full Moon 15. Xiank Villa Yanshizhen, Fu Hangsu may not be enough. Then let Zeman Chuksu and Yi Gucheng go together. 3 top sword masters, plus a sword god. I believe that the Qinglan Club will definitely be famous in the capital. The Emperor Wuha of the capital hopes that you can hold on for a while and wait for the arrival of my Qinglan Club masters. Chen thought to himself. Before the alliance, perhaps the Emperor Wuha's bounty can be taken down first. As for Monk Wuha, a light flashed in Chen's eyes. He had previously obtained the relics of a high monk in the Tantric Buddhist Academy and a Tripitaka of life and death. If all were given to Wuha, Monk Wuha would definitely be able to enter the Qinglan Temple with this. But unfortunately, the relics were previously given to Zyokyoshu, who let Zyokyoshu refine them. However, Monk Wuha has extraordinary qualifications and should be able to comprehend the Tripitaka of life and death. This is the Qinglan Temple's unique learning. It is also a kind of inheritance. As long as you comprehend the Tripitaka of life and death, you should be able to enter the Qinglan Temple. Qinglan Temple is one of the 4 ancestral temples of the Tantric Buddhist Academy. He doesn't believe that there are no antiques in this temple, so it also needs to be treated seriously and carefully. Chen summoned Zeman Chuksu and Wuha. As soon as Zeman Chuksu appeared, Yi Gucheng, who was closing his eyes in the courtyard next to Chen, opened his eyes instantly and jumped into Chen's courtyard. Yi Gucheng, Zeman Chuksu. The 2 spoke in simple tones, but they gave people an extremely familiar feeling. Let me introduce you to the things in this world, Yi Gucheng said. He has been here for a while and knows a lot about this world. This is the Life and Death Tripitaka of Qinglan Temple. After you talk to Yi Gucheng, you can find the original steward and ask him to tell you about some of the Qinglan Temple. After practicing, see if you can enter Qinglan Temple. Chen took out the Life and Death Tripitaka from the space ring and gave it to Monk Wuha. Thank you, my lord. I will study it. Monk Wuha said calmly. Then Yi Gucheng took the 2 people into his courtyard. Not long after the three left, Zhao Xiaodi walked into Su Chen's courtyard with the copied exercises in her hand. Chapter 583, Beige Alpha's exclusive weapon. The strength of the four ghosts in Xiangxi is improved. This is the handwritten copy of the 9-yin heavenly Chan Gong that I practiced. Zhao Xiaodi handed the copied 9-yin heavenly Chan Gong to Su Chen. Su Chen took it and opened it to investigate. Obtained the special dual cultivation method 9-yin heavenly Chan Gong and was rewarded with one orange lottery card. He got another orange lottery card. However, Su Chen did not care about this, but was investigating what was so special about the 9-yin heavenly Chan Gong. After Su Chen investigated, his face rose. The corresponding method of 9-yin heavenly Chan Gong also has a set of methods called 9-yang true fire art. These two methods complement each other. To practice 9-yin heavenly Chan Gong, one must be a woman and must be the furnace of a person who practices 9-yang true fire art. Of course, there is another more vicious thing about 9-yin heavenly Chan Gong. That is, when practicing, a kind of insect that cannot be seen clearly but melts into the ki will be produced in the body. If this kind of insect is practiced with a person who practices 9-yang true fire art, it will be melted into the purest true ki. But if other people practice dual cultivation with others, these bugs will enter other people's bodies silently. Under normal circumstances, it will not be discovered, and there is no harm. But once the person who practices the 9-yang true fire art performs the 9-yin true fire art, these bugs will riot and keep biting in the blood, causing people to feel extremely painful. When you lose your resistance, the opponent can still attack and devour all the energy and blood in your body. The person behind the Jishan Palace is not simple, he actually has such means. No wonder he dares to let the people of the Jishan Palace go outside, but I don't know who this person is. Su Chen sighed in his heart. The person who created this technique is powerful. The background of the Jishan Palace is not simple. Master Su, is there a problem with this technique? Seeing that Su Chen got the transcript, his brows were stretched and solemn. Zhao Xiaodi asked with some concern. This is a furnace and cauldron technique. Not only you, but also those who practice dual cultivation with you will become nutrients for others. Su Chen said in a deep voice. What? Zhao Xiaodi's face changed when she heard Su Chen's words. I wonder if Master Su has any solution? She looked at Su Chen. For the time being, I have no solution. Su Chen shook his head. He really had no way to solve this kind of trouble. You don't need to worry too much. Your internal ki has been devoured. It will take a long time to recover it. Even if the other party uses you as a furnace, they won't be interested in your strength. Your master is Jade Bone Fairy. I will ask the masters of King Lan Club to help you solve this problem first. I will go to Paradise Palace with you. Su Chen was very interested in the Paradise Palace, so he also wanted to meet this Jade Bone Fairy. See if he could learn something about who is behind Paradise Palace from her. I don't know where the headquarters of Paradise Palace is. The only branch is in Jinling City in Jiangnan. Zhao Xiaodi said. Jinling City, one of the three main cities of Jinling County in the Jiangnan region, is a prosperous place. I'm planning to go there. Su Chen said. I couldn't help but think of the Miran family in Jiangnan, which is Miran King Chen's mother's family, and is one of the overlords of Jinling City. When Zhao Xiaodi heard that Su Chen would accompany them, she showed joy on her face. You go and pack up, we will leave at night. There are still 20 days before the full moon on the 15th day of the month in the capital. If they take too long to deal with the affairs of the Paradise Palace, they may not be able to catch up with the gathering of Xiang Villa. According to Su Chen's guess, when these strong men gather, they may surround and kill the imperial teacher on the same day. Okay. Zhao Xiaodi seemed very happy and immediately went back to pack up. My lord, Miss Zhuang has returned from the Lingjiang area. Outside the courtyard, Yuan Suan walked in with Zhuangji. Zhuangji looked a little tired. Although Guan Yushan had the help of Yan Yanjuaf and Liusha, Zhuangji had been keeping an eye on everything, so she looked a little tired. Master, we have received 5 million taels of cash from the Xiangxia League and have deposited it in the bank. Other properties are not suitable for sale. The official envoy will deposit the silver into your bank regularly. Zuangji handed the 5 million taels of silver notes to Su Chen and continued. There is another thing. Hu Liu found out that the more than 10 million in cash raised by the Sea Shark gang was flowing to Jinling City. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes moved slightly. The reward of Emperor Wu Hao came from the black market in Jinling City, Jiangnan. It is normal for them to circulate there. Can Hu Liu find out where the money is? Su Chen is concerned about the reward. Hu Liu has gone to Jinling and will try her best to investigate. However, Jinling City in the south of the Yangtze River is the most prosperous city in the Great Zhao dynasty. The dark forces there are more complicated than those in the capital. It may be difficult to investigate. What's more, such a large sum of money should not be kept alone, but circulated through the black market bank. The reward amount for Emperor Wu Hao appeared in the black market. Du Guwei should have already transferred half of the cash to the black market bank, otherwise the reward would not be issued. The black market bank is too involved. We'd better not investigate. Zuangji said. She knew something about the black market bank from her father, and it was very involved. Let Hu Liu investigate first. It has nothing to do with us. It's her ability to find it. By the way, when you came in just now, you should have seen Zhao Xiaodi from Elysium Palace. I took a task from her, and she happened to be going to Jinling. Come with us to Jinling tonight. Su Chen looked at Zuangji and said. After accepting the mission from Zhao Xiaodi, he contacted Zuangji and told her that he was going to Jiangnan and asked her to return as soon as possible. Zhao Xiaodi from Paradise Palace? Zuangji looked at Su Chen with her beautiful eyes. She didn't expect that the person she just met would be Zhao Xiaodi. As for the mission Su Chen mentioned, it must be a mission to kill people entrusted by Zhao Xiaodi. Who is she going to kill? Zuangji asked involuntarily. Her master is Yugu Yaoji. Su Chen did not hide it from Zuangji. Yugu Yaoji, one of the several sovereign elders of Paradise Palace, is rumored to be gathering divine power. This is not a difficult task. Zuangji said softly. As the banker in charge of the third bank, he also has some information channels of his own. As for King Langhu, it is very easy to kill a Yugu Yaoji who has not gone to the sea to concentrate. She has seen Yi Guchen take action. The host's subordinates Cui Wuhu and the 5 poison boys burned. Li Wangfu and Li Wu Wangfu was destroyed and turned into ruins. Li Wu Wang's prestige in the Huayuan area was greatly reduced, and 1 orange lottery card was rewarded. What? These 2 people actually burned down the Liu Palace? Su Chen's face showed shock. He didn't expect Cui Wuhu and Wu Du Tongzi to be so powerful. Looking at the 2 orange lottery cards he got, get Betrayals for his exclusive level weapon, the Broken Gang gold silk gloves. Get the 20-year Heavenly Man cultivation cards of each of the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi. Betrayals for his level weapon, the 4 ghosts of Xiangxi cultivation cards. The 4 ghosts of Xiangxi have 20-year Heavenly Man cultivation cards, and if they prepare some precious medicines, their strength should be able to reach the level of Danshan Transformation C. When reaching the Danshan Transformation C, the 4 of them may be able to fight against the top C concentrated strongman. Betrayals for his level weapon detection, inputting the key in the body, can break the key gang of the Danshan Transformation C level strongman, and it will be even more powerful with the finger force. Chapter 584. The assassins surrounded Emperor Wu Hao's mansion, and Emperor Wu Hao killed them with one palm, combined into one chapter. Now the strength of those around me has increased a lot. The 4 ghosts from Xiangxi have been following Su Chen. The improvement of the strength of the 4 ghosts from Xiangxi is a great guarantee for Su Chen's safety. Of course, Su Chen's current foundation is estimated to be unable to hurt him, unless he concentrates his mind. This is also the reason why Su Chen dared to leave Shanman. With strength, he doesn't need to stay here like this. It's time to go out and walk around. Master, what are you thinking about? Zuangji, who was not far away, looked at Su Chen who was in a daze and couldn't help but speak. Hearing Zuangji's voice, Su Chen's expression recovered and said, "It's okay, you go back and rest first. We will leave in the evening." After hearing this, Zuangji saluted Su Chen and left the yard. This is a weapon level treasure. You send someone to quickly deliver it to Beichao for his hands. Su Chen handed the broken golden silk gloves to Yuan Suan. Yuan Suan immediately arranged 4 people to prepare the things. Send them directly to the capital. When leaving, Yuan Suan seemed to think of something. My lord, Cheng Shifu's cultivation is a little slow. Senior Gu Santong left Shanmen and went to Xianshan to teach Cheng Shifu. Hearing this, Su Chen just nodded slightly. The grudge between Gu Santong and Zhu Wuxi needs to be resolved by themselves, not to mention that Gu Santong is the head of the East Pavilion and needs to be in Xianshan. As for Shanmen, the strength of the back mountain is terrifying. Night on the wide official road outside Lingnan County. A carriage is moving forward slowly. This carriage is more than twice as wide as ordinary carriages and is pulled by 2 fat and strong horses. The driver is Yuan Suan wearing a bamboo hat. Inside the carriage, Su Chen is sitting on the middle couch, half lying and watching. On the right, Zhuang Zuanji and Zhao Xiaodi are sitting, not talking to each other, because it is relatively quiet in the car. They look at the 2 people sitting on the couch on the left. Zemin Chuxu and Li Guchen are playing chess, silent, and the scene seems a little dull. Time passes little by little. The 2 people stared at each other, and there was some bitterness in their eyes. The voice was transmitted from inside. Miss Zhuang, is it usually so quiet when you go out with Master Su? Zhao Xiaodi asked puzzledly. Yes, it was the same when we went to Lingjiang area last time. It was even quieter last time. Senior Yu sat there holding a long sword without moving the whole time, and this time he even played chess. As for Master Su, he has been reading books, all of which are miscellaneous studies. Zhuang Zuanji transmitted the voice. Then we are a little depressed. This Master Su is really calm. You are the 3rd most beautiful woman on the Xiangxan list, and I'm not bad either. We are 2 beautiful women traveling together, but he actually reads books. Shouldn't he enjoy the service of beautiful women traveling together? Zhao Xiaodi said depressedly. Previously, she thought that Su Chen wanted the pure yin qi in her body and would practice dual cultivation with her, but he didn't. When she met Zhuang Zuanji, she thought that Su Chen was not being nice to her because of Zhuang Zuanji, but she didn't expect that Su Chen didn't seem to have any special thoughts about Zhuang Zuanji. Is it that Master Su can't do that? Zhao Xiaodi said in a voice transmission. Hearing this, Zhuang Zuanji's face slightly blushed, and she said in a voice transmission, it seems that you haven't investigated Master Su. Master Su used to go to the brothel frequently, but he has not been there since he became the young dragon leader. Zhuang Zuanji cooperated with Su Chen and investigated Su Chen, so she knew something. Of course, she didn't know why she explained this to Su Chen. Her eyes couldn't help but look at Su Chen. Su Chen was carefully flipping through the book in his hand. Check the Jiangnan topographic map and get an orange lottery card as a reward. His face was calm, and he didn't stop because he got the lottery card. Su Chen still needed to understand the situation in Jiangnan. Zhao Xiaodi heard Zhuang Zuanji's words, and her beautiful eyes moved slightly. She said this to test Zhuang Zuanji and see how Zhuang Zuanji would react to Su Chen. It's a competitor, Zhao Xiaodi thought to herself. On the other side, in the capital, in a secret room, Shangguan Jinhong, Bai Chaofi, and Mirengfu, the 3 of them sat beside a square table. Jin Fihang has begun to doubt our several managers and weaken our strength. He is expected to take over the Jin Qian gang in full, so we can't keep Jin Fihang. This time, I want to join forces with the Grand Tutor's mansion and the 12th prince to attack Jin Fihang. Shangguan Jinhong said in a deep voice. Originally, he thought that killing Jin Fihang's disciples would make him more advantageous in the Jin Qian gang, but he didn't expect Jin Fihang to personally seize power. Grand Tutor's mansion, it seems that they have also set their sights on the Jin Qian gang. They are really greedy. I will convince the 12th prince about this matter. He will not miss such an opportunity. I also want to see what the background of the 12th prince is, Mirengfu said. After following the 12th prince for such a long time, Mirengfu actually still hasn't been able to get into the real team of the 12th prince and doesn't know what the real background of the 12th prince is now. Chao Fei, what have you found out recently? There are assassins gathering, and they may attack Emperor Wu Hao. The specific time is still unknown. Bei Chao Fei said in a deep voice. It seems that someone can't wait and wants to attack Emperor Wu Hao first. Murong Fu frowned slightly. Their forces have not yet arrived, and they may not be able to take down Emperor Wu Hao, so they hope that this assassination will come later. Suddenly, Bei Chao Fei's expression changed. Wait for me, both of you. After saying that, he walked out of the secret room. After a while, he returned and said solemnly, the first wave of assassinations in Emperor Wu Hao's mansion has begun. Do we want to go and see? Go. Murong Fu said, and then the three of them changed into black robes, put on masks and hats, and quickly disappeared into the secret room. On the roofs of the buildings around Emperor Wu Hao's mansion, one after another, black figures are moving quickly towards Emperor Wu Hao's mansion. These people are very fast, and soon appeared outside Emperor Wu Hao's mansion, and entered Emperor Wu Hao's mansion. Teams of guards are patrolling in the mansion. They are wearing armor, with long swords on their waists, and their eyes are shining fiercely. Suddenly, dozens of cold rays of light, like meteors, went towards these guards. The guards were also quick to move. They swung their long swords and slashed out, splitting the cold light. Several guards fell to the ground in the process. Kill. After blocking the cold light, the guards rushed out immediately and slashed at the assassins in black. Their purpose of guarding the Emperor Wu Hao mansion was to deal with these assassins. But when they rushed out, a purple poisonous mist came. All the people who rushed out foamed at the mouth and fell to the ground and died. A woman in black fell down. It was the woman named Du Xianggu. After falling down, she killed the guards. For a moment, any guard who touched her fell to the ground quickly. The remaining guards retreated one after another. At this time, teams of guards came out from other places. Emperor Wu Hao had mobilized 3,000 private soldiers to guard Emperor Wu Hao mansion. These guards held crossbows in their hands and shot out instantly. Seeing this, the woman in black dodged around, and the other assassins who rushed into the mansion, blocked by dense arrows. Everyone stretched out their palms, and streams of true energy swept out to resist these arrows. Although they blocked the arrows, they could not move forward. Close range kill. At this time, a rough voice came out. Boom! As the rough voice fell, a violent figure rushed out from the crowd, kicked the ground with his feet, and the whole person flew into the air, with a strong evil spirit on his body. Shoot! Seeing this, the archers immediately adjusted the arrows and shot at the figure. Clang clang clang, but these arrows could not break the evil spirit on the opponent's body. Die. The figure of the person who made the move fell down and punched out. Several archers beside him were instantly blown away by the punch, and their chests were all shattered by the energy, and blood was scattered. Ancient twin demons, you are looking for death. At this time, a knife light rushed out from the Emperor Wu Hao mansion. The knife light was sharp, and the one who made the move was Mu Xiangsheng, the commander of the Emperor Wu Hao mansion. At this time, he was full of energy, and it seemed that his injuries had healed. Boom! The knife light appeared, and the black-clothed sturdy man punched out. The light on his fist was black, and collided with the knife light. Boom! The powerful energy burst out at the intersection of the fist and the knife light, forming an airwave, and went to all directions. After a knife, Mu Xiangsheng landed in front of the other party. You are really looking for death? You dare to come to my Emperor Wu Hao mansion? His eyes were sharp, and the knife energy was permeated on his body. We brothers don't have the habit of looking for death. At this time, when Mu Xiangsheng's voice fell, a black figure rushed out from behind him in an instant, and his palm stepped out with a sharp energy, and grabbed Mu Xiangsheng's head. I know how to call out your names. Don't you think I don't know the boss of the ancient twin demons? Mu Xiangsheng's eyes were ferocious. His body turned, and his foot kicked the ground. The ground collapsed, and the whole person instantly shot out, and the long knife in his hand slashed out. The violent knife light illuminated the area. The leader of the ancient twin demons, who had made the move, was startled. The ki in his body was rapidly circulating, and the yin ki on his palm surged out, colliding with the violent knife light. Bang! The body of the ancient twin demons was repelled by the knife light, and a trace of blood flowed from his palm. Damn it, kill him. The face of the ancient twin demons became ferocious, and he growled. The black-clothed sturdy man saw that the boss was injured, and the violent ki in his body flowed out, and the violent ki vibrated, tearing the air, making a deafening sound. Yenshin flame palm. Boom, he punched out, and the Inshaki on his fist collided with the air to produce black flames, which blasted towards Mu Xiangsheng. On the other side, the leader of the Yinshan twin demons probed with his palms, and the key in his palms was sharp, like a dragon out of the sea, and pressed towards Mu Xiangsheng violently. Do you think there is no one in my Emperor Wu Hao mansion? Boom. At this moment, a violent blood rushed out, and with it came a blood-colored iron stick. The shadow of the stick swept towards the head of the black-clothed sturdy man like a tidal wave. The black-clothed sturdy man who had made the move sensed the twisting of the space behind him, so he could only punch back. The fist collided with the long stick, and the two bodies retreated at the same time. Here, Mu Xiangsheng's long sword collided with the palms of the ancient twin demons again. The sword lights and claw shadows of both sides flowed, and it was difficult to tell the winner for a while. In the hall of Emperor Wu Hao's mansion, Emperor Wu Hao sat on the main chair with a calm face. In the meeting hall, there were two more people sitting. The two people looked solemn and kept paying attention to the situation outside. My lord, you should take shelter first. The other party should not be so simple. The middle-aged man in black said. Yes, my lord, you should take shelter for a while. Another person in dark blue robes said the same thing. I really want to see how strong the people they are. I haven't made a move for many years, so I should let people know my strength. Emperor Wu Hao said calmly. Hearing this, the two stopped talking. They are loyal to Emperor Wu Hao and obey all his orders. The sound of killing continued to be heard in Emperor Wu Hao's mansion. Some people quickly appeared outside the mansion. They all landed on the top of the house to look at the situation here. The scale of this dispatch is still large. With so many masters of the 9 difficulties of heaven and man, I'm afraid that the 3,000 soldiers of Emperor Wu Hao's mansion cannot support Emperor Wu Hao. Shangguan Jinhang said in one place. This is an assassination, not a frontal attack. It can allow these soldiers to gather and create a strong military force. The personnel are dispersed, which is conducive to the martial arts masters to kill one by one. Perhaps Emperor Wu Hao's purpose is also to stop these 9 difficulties of heaven and man. There are people to deal with the Danshan who are Hei masters. Bei Chaofei looked at one place when he spoke, because 2 more Danshan who are Hei masters appeared and headed towards the hall of Emperor Wu Hao's mansion. However, when they rushed out, a huge momentum suddenly appeared in the Emperor Wu Hao mansion. This momentum was unstoppable and invincible. This Marquis, I don't want to waste time with you. If there is a stronger one, come out. These 2 people are just appetizers. A cold and domineering voice came from the Emperor Wu Hao mansion. Then the voice fell, and a tall and slender figure rushed out. The palm was raised, and the palm was like holding up the sky, and it slapped one of them. Emperor Wu Hao made a move. Seeing this situation, the figure who rushed out changed his face and turned pale. Their purpose was to attract the other 2 Danshan who are Hei realm masters beside Emperor Wu Hao to make a move. It was not to fight with Emperor Wu Hao. Emperor Wu Hao was the first martial marquis of the Great Zhao dynasty. Being able to be called the first martial marquis shows his strength. The 2 of them looked at each other and wanted to twist their bodies to escape. But Emperor Wu Hao's palm was filled with a huge momentum, suppressing the 2 people's figures. Make a move. One of them roared. But no one responded, and no one made a move. Seeing this, the 2 knew that they were being used as guns. Their ki surged, and terrifying power burst out from their hands, trying their best to resist the palm of Emperor Wu Hao. Like ants, Emperor Wu Hao's voice roared, and his ki surged, and he appeared in the sky above Emperor Wu Hao's mansion with terrifying majesty. Under this momentum, the 2 stopped their bodies at the same time, and the minds in their heads were shattered by Emperor Wu Hao's palm, and their eyes lost their divine light for a while. Boom. At this time, Emperor Wu Hao's palm fell like the sky. Bang. The bodies of the 2 flew backwards like broken kites, hit the ground, spurted blood, and then died. One move. Emperor Wu Hao killed 2 Danshan who are Hei realm warriors with one move, showing his strong and domineering strength. He looked around with a tiger-like look. Then his eyes stayed in one place. Since you are here, just take action. I really want to see your strength. His eyes looked in one place. There stood a huge figure, more than 3 meters tall. Such a figure should have exuded a terrifying aura. But the other party stood there, as if he had no aura. Emperor Wu Hao, you want me to take action, and I also want to see the strength of the first Wu Hao. The tall figure and the rumbling voice shook the earth and mountains, like thunder from the sky. Chapter 585, Powerful Ki and Strong Body. At this time, on a rooftop, a figure wearing a mask of the Evil Alliance was looking at the Emperor Wu Hao mansion. He Yisheng, the second leader of the Evil Alliance, is here too. Does he want to make a move? Someone saw this figure and his eyes condensed. He Yisheng is a powerful man in the sea. Such a person appeared here tonight. It is possible that he is not here to watch. Boom. Just as this person's voice fell, the masked He Yisheng's figure suddenly turned into a residual shadow and appeared in front of the other party. His palm became a claw, stretched out, and took off the other party's head with one claw, threw it aside, and returned. The whole action was completed in a flash. Some people didn't react, but their bodies unconsciously moved away from here. They didn't want to be beheaded like the previous person. He Yisheng, the second leader of the Evil Alliance, made a move without saying a word. His means were too brutal. A person wearing the same black cloak and the same mask as He Yisheng appeared. The martial artists in the rivers and lakes who saw this figure from afar were moved. The third leader of the Evil Alliance. The three leaders of the Evil Alliance looked at the burly man who walked out of the darkness, and a trace of doubt flashed in their eyes. Who is this person? I don't know. If such a burly figure has appeared in the martial arts world, he must not be unknown. He Yisheng, who was wearing a mask, said, I didn't expect that such a master would appear. The third leader Keijing's tone was a little gloomy. There were such strong people in the first wave of assassinations, and there would probably be more in the future. Don't worry, my master said that the strength of Emperor Wu Hao is also an absolute strong one in the sea of concentration. He Yisheng, who was wearing a mask, transmitted the voice. I know the strength of Emperor Wu Hao, but there are many strong people in the capital now. The Qinglang Society's Yan Shizhen should have set his sights on Emperor Wu Hao, and the leader of the killer organization, Reincarnation, ranked third in the assassin list of the Zenfu division, has secretly arrived in the capital. If he can't deal with this guy, he will take this opportunity to attack. Keijing transmitted the voice. As for his face, it was not clear under the mask. Hearing Keijing's words, He Yisheng's eyes moved slightly while wearing a mask. Although Walking Wei is the third-ranked assassin organization, the leader of Walking Wei, Song Lunhu, is very powerful and has the stealth secret technique, shadow breathing technique. When he uses this secret technique and stands in the darkness, he can completely merge with the darkness. The assassin can perfectly merge himself with the darkness, which means that this assassin is extremely terrifying, because he can catch you by surprise and kill you at the moment you relax. No matter how strong the warrior's spirit is, he will still relax to a certain extent, and once he relaxes, it is a fatal moment. Therefore, Song Lunhu, the leader of Walking Wei, is also known as Death Without Life, Song Lunhu in the martial arts world. As for Song Lunhu's appearance, no one has seen it. No one knows who he is. I believe the great leader can handle it. He Yisheng said in a voice transmission. His eyes continued to look at the battlefield. On the other side, this person's physical aura is very strong, and there is no information about this person in my data. Bei Chaofei said in a deep voice. There are many strong men in the martial arts world of the Great Zhao dynasty, and many of them live in seclusion. I wonder if he can defeat Emperor Wu Hao. Murong Fu's eyes flashed with brilliance. Emperor Wu Hao and the burly man who appeared both had strong auras. This made him a little envious. In this world, force is power. As long as you are strong, you can get the power you want. Shangguan Jinhang did not speak. He kept watching the two men in his mind. He hoped that the fight between the two would help him improve his understanding of martial arts. Who are you? Emperor Wu Hao looked at the burly man with cold eyes. But the burly man did not reply to Emperor Wu Hao's words. An extremely hot aura appeared on his body. At this moment, his muscles bulged, and his robe shattered instantly. Boom. He kicked the ground hard, and the ground exploded instantly. A huge cloud of dust rose like thick smoke. The huge figure rushed towards Emperor Wu Hao. There was no true energy generated all over his body, but the body collided with the air and made a hissing sound. For a while, there was a terrible burning feeling in the air. What a strong physical strength. Seeing this scene, the spectators were shocked. The opponent did not use Kijin, but only pure physical strength collided with the air, which produced such a burning breath. How could they not be surprised? Emperor Wu Hao also showed surprise on his face, but his expression quickly recovered. Boom! At this moment, Emperor Wu Hao moved his feet and rushed out, and a huge bloody aura burst out from his palm. He clenched his fist tightly and punched out. The blood in his fist was like a dragon. The burly man who rushed out also punched out. The two fists collided with each other, and the terrifying power raged around. But the two bodies were not repelled. Boom! Emperor Wu Hao and the burly man stepped on the ground at the same time. The bloody aura around them continued to burst out, forming invisible bloody aura waves, surging around, and forming a hot air when it touched the air. On the other side, veins appeared on the burly man's body, and blood and energy flowed rapidly in the veins. During the flow, his bones kept making crackling sounds. His body swelled up rapidly. In the blink of an eye, it turned red. A terrifying and domineering aura swept over him. His body, which was originally more than 3 meters long, grew to 4 meters again. With the bulging muscles, he was now a giant beast. Seeing this scene, some people's eyes changed again. The opponent's strength was still increasing, and his eyes could not help but look at Emperor Wu Hao. Emperor Wu Hao also showed a fierce look in his eyes at this moment, and his body took the initiative to retreat. At the moment of retreating, the blood and evil energy on his body circulated rapidly, and the terrifying blood and evil energy formed a ki gang around him, and the whole person was like a demon king in the blood and evil. Purple extreme evil palm. Boom! Emperor Wu Hao slapped out with one palm. The huge force exploded everything around, forming a huge blood-colored flame, to attack the burly man. At this moment, the burly man's eyes were burning. Instead of retreating, his body advanced, and his violent fist collided with the terrifying flaming palm of Emperor Wu Hao. Bang! With a dull sound of collision, the burly man's body flew out and hit the wall like a bulldozer, crushing the entire ground, leaving a deep mark. Boom! The body that flew out stood up, patted off the gravel on his body, and began to compress, turning into a 2-meter tall man. Emperor Wu Hao's strength is indeed extraordinary. I have other things to deal with today. We will fight again in the future. After saying that, he turned around and headed towards the dark street. The speed was so fast that he disappeared from everyone's sight in the blink of an eye. Retreat. Seeing this situation, the other assassins did not dare to stay any longer and evacuated one after another. Some assassins who did not evacuate were strangled by some soldiers in the palace of Emperor Wu Hao. An assassination is like a storm, coming and going quickly. However, this battle also made people know the strength of Emperor Wu Hao. Chapter 586. The whereabouts of Yan Shizhen. The plan to kill Jin Fihang is launched. Looking at the figure leaving, Marquis de Wu's eyes were solemn. My lord, do you want to chase him? The man in black beside him said in a deep voice. No, comfort the wounded first, and you go to find out the information of that person. He was able to fight me with his palm with his physical strength alone, and was knocked away by my palm without any injuries. This person is not simple, and we must know who he is. Marquis de Wu finished speaking, and led his people back to the mansion. The people watching the battle also began to evacuate one after another. Bei Chaofei and the other two returned to the secret room. This Marquis de Wu's strength is so strong that it is surprising. When the ki on his body burst out, I vaguely feel that there is still a stream of ki and blood flowing in his body. He has not yet used all his strength. Shangguan Jinhang said. Emperor Wu Hao is strong, but the man who fought him is a little weird, with terrifying power like a giant beast. During the fight just now, he didn't use his true energy and relied on his physical strength to resist the blow of Emperor Wu Hao. From the way he left, he also kept some tricks. The capital is more terrifying than we imagined. Bei Chaofei frowned. Although he secretly deployed a lot of manpower and spent a lot of money during the time that Jin Fengxiaoyu Tower was in the capital, the information he got was still a little lacking. It seems that the personnel layout needs to be further deepened. The prince's mansion and the official mansion also need to recruit some spies to see if some useful information can be discovered from some simple clues. Bei Chaofei thought to himself. The burly man will definitely be tracked down by major forces from today onwards. If his news appears, please let Brother Bei pass it to us. Our focus now is to deal with Jin Fihang first. Brother Shangwen, I will go back to the 12th Prince's mansion first and communicate with him about this matter to see how he reacts. Murungfu said in a deep voice. Okay, I'll wait for your news in the money gang. Shangwen Jinhang nodded. Then several people left the secret room again, and Murungfu went to the 12th Prince's mansion. Because he had the token given by the 12th Prince, Murungfu quickly came to a study. In the study, in addition to the 12th Prince, there was also a woman in gauze, who was Hang Eluo from the Shadow Gate. Seeing Murungfu coming, Hang Eluo bowed and prepared to leave the study. No need to avoid Murungfu. This is Hang Eluo from the Shadow Gate. In the future, you should have more contact and cooperate with each other. Murung, what do you want to see me for? The 12th Prince Liu He looked at Murungfu and said. Hearing Liu He's words, Murungfu was happy in his heart, but his face did not change at all. Your Highness, Shangwen he came to me just now and said that Pang Dashao contacted him and also wanted to get a share of the money gang. Murungfu said. Is Pang Tong still quick to act? What does Shangwen he mean? Liu he asked. Shangwen he said that Jin Fihang is trying to consolidate power, which is not good for him, so he hopes that the 12th Prince and Pang Dao will send people to kill Jin Fihang. Murungfu said hurriedly. Shangwen he is very ambitious, but now is indeed an opportunity. But to kill Jin Fihang, I'm afraid we need to send out a sea concentrated master. If Shangwen he can persuade Pang Tong to send out a sea concentrated master, I will send 2 ancient transforming sea masters to assist them, but I want a quarter of the benefits from money. The 12th Prince Liu he said. A quarter. Murungfu's face did not change, but his heart sank. Liu he wanted a quarter, and the Taishi mansion would definitely want a quarter. If another quarter was given to Qian Junmo of Zhenwu Garden, Shangwen Jinhang would only have a quarter left. This was completely him creating benefits for the others. I will convince Shangwen he. Murungfu said as he received the order. Now he is the subordinate of the 12th Prince, so he cannot be partial to Shangwen Jinhang. The order from the Deputy Commander of the Northern Pacification Division will be issued to you within a month. You should learn more about the internal situation of the Northern Pacification Division. I hope you can take control of the real power within 3 months. The 12th Prince Liu he walked out from the desk and came to Murungfu and said. Thank you, 12th Prince. I will definitely take control of the real power and be loyal to you as soon as possible. Murungfu hurriedly bowed and thanked him. This is what you deserve. I hope you won't disappoint me. The 12th Prince Liu he looked at Murungfu and said. Then he seemed to remember something and asked, what's going on with Marquis Anking recently? Since Marquis Anking and Madame Anking visited the South China Sea Chamber of Commerce once, they have not left the Marquis mansion again. I didn't dare to enter the Marquis Anking mansion to investigate. Murungfu replied. It seems that he has gained a lot of benefits from the South China Sea Chamber of Commerce. If you have time, please visit Marquis Anking on my behalf. I hope Marquis Anking can join me. The 12th Prince Liu he said. Yes, I will secretly go to Shangwen He's residence tomorrow. After things are arranged, I will go to Anking Marquis's residence. Murungfu said with his head down. A ray of light flashed in his eyes, but it disappeared in the moment he raised his head. He left the room. At this time, he was in another place. In a dilapidated temple. The burly man who had attacked Emperor Wu Hao before appeared in the dilapidated temple. He had changed into a green suit. In the courtyard, there was another man in black and a bamboo hat. Looking at the green suit man who came in, he said, you don't use your true energy and blood, but rely on your physical body to fight Emperor Wu Hao. Aren't you afraid that he will blow up your physical body? If he can blow me up, it means that my physical strength is not strong enough. You are so anxious to find me. Have you found the whereabouts of Yan Shizhen? The man in the suit said. I have found his whereabouts. It is right here. Find him and bring his head here. I will give you another secret medicine. The man in black said, and disappeared in front of the man in tight clothes. After the man in black left, Puff the man in tight clothes who spoke earlier spurted out a mouthful of blood. The Emperor Wu Hao is really strong. It is still a little difficult to take his punch simply by strength. While speaking, he took out a pill from his arms and swallowed it all in one gulp. The blood in his body flowed, and some of the previous injuries in his body began to recover rapidly. The next day, the news that the Emperor Wu Hao mansion was surrounded by assassins spread. For a time, the capital was in an uproar. Since the establishment of the Great Zhao dynasty, no Jianghu assassin dared to assassinate the Emperor Wu Hao so blatantly. Is the Jianghu going to change? This is what some people think. In a private room of a tea house, Shangguan Jinhang and Huang Xiangxing from the Taishi mansion were sitting opposite each other. Shangguan manager, I wonder if there is anything I can help you with. Huang Xiangxing said. Manager Huang, I'm going to surround and kill Jin Fihang. The 12th prince will send out 2 Danshan transformation sea realm experts. I hope young Master Pang can send out a sea concentration spirit expert. Shangguan Jinhang said. We send out a sea concentration spirit expert? How much benefit can that bring us? Hearing Shangguan Jinhang's words, Huang Xiangxing frowned slightly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 587, Reincarnation. There is death but no life. Song Reincarnation. 1/4 of the Prophet. Shangguan Jinhang said, after thinking for a moment. But in his heart, he was thinking, no matter how much profit I promise now, can you get it? Su Chen is already on his way to the capital. Once he arrives in the capital, the power of the capital will inevitably increase, and he, Shangguan Jinhang, can show his identity. There is no need to use the identity of Shangguan He as a cover. At that time, he will be Shangguan Jinhang of Xian'ai Pavilion. Will he care who it is? Hearing Shangguan Jinhang's words, Huang Xiangxing's face did not relax, and he was not satisfied with the 1/4 of the Prophet. Shangguan Jinhang said. The sea concentrated strongman took action, but he was the enemy of Zhenwu Garden. 1/4 of the Prophet is a little less. Huang Xiangxing said in a deep voice. Manager Huang, I'm afraid I can't take out more. After all, there is more than just Pang Xiao. Recently, there is a news outside that King Donghu, Yan Shizhen killed the sea concentrated strongman for about 3 million taels. If it doesn't work, I'll see if I can find this person and ask him to take action. Shangguan Jinhang said. Although he could freely say how much benefit he would give, if he gave too much, the other party would become suspicious. Upon hearing this, Huang Xiangxing's face changed. Shangguan manager, why bother others with money for something we can solve? I will personally communicate with Mr. Pang about this matter, and will definitely help you make it happen. Huang Xiangxing said hurriedly. 1/4 of the benefit was within their imagination. If Shangguan He really didn't cooperate with them, and went to find a killer to solve Jin Fihang, they couldn't even get this 1/4. Then I'd like to trouble manager Huang to reply as soon as possible. Jin Fihang's matter can't be delayed. Shangguan Jinhang said. Don't worry, manager Shangguan. Huang Xiangxing stood up and bowed and left. Shangguan Jinhang stood up and looked at Huang Xiangxing leaving with a cold light in his eyes. Have all the spies in the mansion been eliminated? Who is helping Jin Fihang now? Shangguan Jinhang said. At the back of the private room, Madam Yu came out. I have already controlled all the spies in the mansion. All the news must pass through my hands before it can be spread. The one who is helping Jin Fihang now is Gao Silan, one of the 5 stewards. Gao Silan was a maid who followed Jin Fihang back then. Madam Yu said. She is helping Jin Fihang, so let's kill her and see if Jin Fihang has anyone else to use. Find her whereabouts, and then I will kill her myself. Shangguan Jinhang said coldly. Yes. Madam Yu accepted the order. Beixiang Pavilion. Madam Ningxiang, have you contacted her? Have you found anything? Nothing has been found yet, but I revealed my identity a little bit. She looks normal, and it seems that she knows my identity. I'm afraid she may have noticed something. Madam Yu said. Is that so? Don't contact the other party for the time being. After Jin Fihang dies, you will directly confront the other party on my behalf. Madam Ningxiang has been in contact with Jin Fihang for so many years, and she may have a certain friendship with Jin Fihang. She may mention something she noticed to Jin Fihang. Go and investigate Gao Silan's whereabouts first, and get rid of her tonight, Shangwen Jinhang said. Capital, Beixiang Pavilion garden-like buildings. The houses in the garden are all made of bluestone, blending with the surrounding green bamboo forest, showing a simple and elegant style, plus some flowers dotted in the courtyard, so that many people in the capital like this place. In a wing room, Madame Ningxiang of Beixiang Pavilion stood in the room. Not far from her, Jin Fihang was sitting, drinking tea in his hand. Someone from your Jinqian gang is approaching me. Madame Ningxiang's voice was as gentle as a yellow warbler out of the valley. Her eyes were not focused on Jin Fihang, but looked at the dense bamboo forest outside the window. Someone came to contact you. It seems that he learned from Butler Yang that Butler Yang is in the hands of the other party and is not dead yet. Who is that person? Jin Fihang said calmly. Jin Fihang was able to become the leader of the Jinqian gang, and he was also a hero. He knew that someone was dealing with him now, but he hadn't found out who was dealing with him yet. Madam Yu, one of your former medicine slaves. Madam Ningxiang said. I didn't expect it would be her. It seems that our opponent is not simple. Jin Fihang frowned slightly. It's not simple, but you don't have to worry. I got the news from young Master Kyan that the general manager of Zhenwu Garden has arranged people to take action. I believe that the killer Yan Shizhen of the Qinglang Society will disappear soon. As for your Jinqian gang, how is your investigation going? Madame Ningxiang said in a deep voice. There are no clues, but it doesn't matter anymore. The other party contacted you because they should feel pressured by my recent actions. Next, after I have gathered all the power, they will take action. I just need to wait and tell young Master Kyan that the Jinqian gang will get it done as soon as possible. Jin Fihang said. It's good that gang leader Jin has that confidence. When will the prophet be delivered this time? Madame Ningxiang turned around, slowly came to Jin Fihang's side, and helped Jin Fihang make a cup of tea again. I will arrange for someone to deliver it within 3 days. After Jin Fihang finished speaking, he stood up and walked out of the wing room. At this time, outside the city, in a dark forest, a dilapidated temple was surrounded by weeds and tall trees, which completely covered the dilapidated temple. If you don't look carefully, you won't find that there is a dilapidated temple here. In the dilapidated temple, Yan Shizhen was leaning against a pillar with a long sword in his arms. At the door of the dilapidated temple, stood a man wrapped in black. His eyes were exposed, and they were extremely gloomy. I didn't expect that there would be someone like me who chose such a dilapidated temple. The voice was hoarse and cold. Yan Shizhen looked calm, as if he didn't look at the other party, and continued to lean against the long sword. Interesting. Hearing Yan Shizhen's words, the man wrapped in black showed a smile in his eyes. He walked straight into the dilapidated temple, and sat down opposite Yan Shizhen. The man in black who sat down lit the bonfire in front of him, and crackling sounds came from the bonfire. I don't know what your name is. Maybe we can cooperate? The man in black looked at Yan Shizhen and said. Choosing such a remote place meant that he didn't want others to see him. This kind of people must be the same as him. What's more, although the other party was leaning against the wooden pillar and his breath was restrained, he could clearly sense the murderous intent on his body. He believed that the other party could also sense the murderous intent on his body. Of course, this murderous intent was not directed at the other party, but a kind of murderous intent that naturally arose from killing so many people. Emperor Wu Hao, it's the 15th day of the full moon. Yan Shizhen said calmly. Song Lunhu of the Wheel of Reincarnation, I wonder if we can cooperate? The man introduced himself. Song Lunhu of the Wheel of Reincarnation, the leader of the killer organization ranked 3rd on the killer list of the Zenfu division. Yan Shizhen of the Qinglang Society. Yan Shizhen said. I didn't expect that you are Yan Shizhen, who recently killed the manager of the Zhenwu Garden in the capital. I'm sorry. Song Lunhu's eyes showed a hint of surprise. Song Lunhu, who suddenly spoke, had his eyes lit up and looked outside the ruined temple. Another person is coming. Chapter 588. I have a sword that I have never used. After he finished speaking, he stood up and slowly walked towards the dark part of the temple. The moment he entered the dark part, he seemed to disappear. Yan Shizhen, who was leaning against the wooden pillar, showed a hint of surprise in his eyes. Boom. At this moment, the already broken wooden door of the dilapidated temple was smashed by a punch, and a violent figure rushed in from outside. The figure landed at the door of the dilapidated temple. The figure of the person who came was more than 2 meters tall, wearing a green robe, and was considered to be burly. His tiger-like eyes looked at Yan Shizun, who was leaning against the pillar. King Long Hu Yan Shizun. The sound rumbled, shaking the entire dilapidated temple, as if it had collapsed. Dust fell from the roof. Yan Shizun stood up, and looked at the other party with sharp eyes. The other party was coming towards him. The person who came to find him was the one who wanted to kill him. Boom. At the moment, when Yan Shizun stood up, the person who came moved his feet, and his whole body rushed towards Yan Shizun, raised his fist in his hand, and punched out. There was no fluctuation of true energy on the fist, but it was extremely violent. Yan Shizun's eyes condensed, and the long sword in his hand slashed out. The sword energy condensed in the long sword, bursting out with brilliant sword intent, and collided with the opponent's fist. Bang! The sword energy was shattered by the opponent's fist, and a force passed through the long sword, to shake Yan Shizun's body back a few steps. Haha, your sword energy can't even break my fist. You will be beaten to death by me today. Seeing this, the person who came laughed wildly. Yan Shizun, who retreated, had a blank expression on his face, as if he didn't care about the other party's words. Swish. With a move of his body, the whole person appeared in front of the other party, and the long sword in his hand stabbed out again. This sword was not only fast, but also more fierce. The direction of the stab was the opponent's heart. The person who made the move condensed his eyes, and felt the sharp sword energy from the long sword in Yan Shizun's hand, which made his skin slightly painful. He quickly raised his hand, and punched at the long sword that Yan Shizun stabbed. But Yan Shizun's long sword was changing, and he didn't mean to collide with the opponent's fist. If it is just a simple fight of sword energy and fighting spirit, then what is the use of swordsmanship? The long sword turned, and continued to stab at the opponent's heart. Seeing this, the person who made the move raised his hand, to grab Yan Shizun's long sword. He wanted to grab Yan Shizun's long sword. But when he raised his hand to grab, Yan Shizun retracted the long sword in his hand, and his figure flashed again, appearing behind the opponent's back. The long sword wrapped in sword energy quickly rushed towards the opponent's back. Swish. The long sword stabbed the opponent's back, and went towards the opponent's heart. Boom. At this moment, the opponent roared, and a violent energy appeared around his body. The body that was only 2 meters long suddenly expanded to 4 meters. The muscles of the flesh bulged, and even the back was covered with muscles, clamping the long sword that Yan Shizun stabbed into his skin. Yan Shizun's eyes condensed. The sword energy surged and exploded directly. He pulled back the long sword, and turned his body, to appear outside the ruined temple. Boom! After the opponent's body changed, he punched the ground. The entire temple collapsed, and the opponent stood in the temple intact, looking at Yan Shizun fiercely. Just now my flesh couldn't block your sword energy. Now my flesh, let me see how you can pierce it. As he spoke, he raised his palm and slapped it towards Yan Shizun. Yan Shizun's eyes condensed, and the sword style of the long sword in his hand changed. Yan Shizun made a move, and touched the opponent's palm. At the moment of contact, a condensed sword energy instantly shot out. Swish. Blood splattered, and the opponent's palm was pierced by Yan Shizun's sword. The opponent groaned, and instantly retracted his arm, staring at Yan Shizun with a sinister look, looking at him with disbelief. He didn't believe that the opponent's sword energy could penetrate his palm. A burst of energy filled his palm, and the pierced palm quickly recovered. Your sword energy is really sharp, which amazes me. It seems that I need to show my ability to deal with you. The person who made the move looked at Yan Shizun with a serious look on his face. The opponent's sword energy was sharp and extraordinary. It was difficult to kill him without using his real skills. Tiger roar and dragon roar. When he finished speaking, he roared. A terrifying tiger roar and dragon roar burst out. This is a sound wave technique. Through the energy of sound wave vibration, the opponent's mind is distracted. At the moment, when the opponent lost his mind, he attacked and killed the opponent. When the roar broke out, a huge blood and ki power appeared on this person's body. The blood and ki flowed around his body, forming a stream of hot air. The flesh and blood cooperated extremely well, and a terrifying power burst out. Along with the appearance of this power, the roar that broke out formed ripples visible to the naked eye, and finally formed tiger shadows and dragon shadows, attacking Yan Shizhen. Yan Shizen's eyes condensed. The aura around him surged, and the divine power concentrated in the sea burst out instantly, and a huge sword intent burst out from him. The sword intent was extremely terrifying, slashing the sky and destroying the earth. Boom. The sword was slashed out, and the tiger shadow and dragon shadow that rushed out were instantly slashed. But the opponent's attack was not based on this move. When Yan Shizen's sword came out, the opponent moved, his body shot out, and a punch went towards Yan Shizen's chest. The fist was filled with blood and ki, like a red flame. After Yan Shizen slashed out with a sword, his figure retreated violently, and the long sword in his hand did not hesitate. Sword 14. The domineering sword energy instantly burst out and collided with the opponent's fist. Boom. A huge explosion sounded from the fist and the long sword, forming a violent airwave that swept around. The wall of the broken temple that had not collapsed before collapsed instantly under this energy. The two people's figures also retreated several steps instantly. What a terrifying sword energy. The person who made the move had messy hair and a little messy blood and ki on his body. He looked at Yan Shizen with a serious look. The sword that the opponent just burst out was more fierce and domineering than the previous sword. There was a sense of sword energy running wild. I have a sword. I have never used it. You are worthy of my use. Yan Shizen retreated, and his ki was also rolling. The opponent's fist was domineering and fierce. The collision just now was equivalent to a two-way defeat. He decided to use the 15th sword. Hearing Yan Shizen's words, the man who made the move had a condensed look. He knew Yan Shizen's horror when he fought with him. Now the opponent actually said that he had another sword. This sword has never been used. There is no need to think about the absolute horror of this sword. Damn, I was fooled by intuition. This Yan Shizen is definitely a top-notch concentrated strongman, and his sword intent is terrifying and sharp. The man who made the move cursed in his heart. With a heavy heart, he looked at Yan Shizen with vigilance. At this moment, Yan Shizen raised his sword. The moment he raised the sword, Yan Shizen's eyes became cold and empty, and a terrible aura appeared on his body. Then a terrifying sword intent appeared behind him. The void became darker at this moment, and rolling black fog appeared around the sword intent. At this moment, the surrounding world was rendered like the end of the world. Song Lunhu, who was hiding in the dark, looked at the sword. His face turned pale, and his eyes looked at the man who made the move. Chapter 589, Sneak Attack, Judge of Life and Death tearing flesh and blood. The exposed eyes turned. This sword of Yan Shizen is extremely terrifying. If he uses this sword, I'm afraid Yan Shizen will be injured. In this battle in the capital, I can't make any profit alone. I need to cooperate with Yan Shizen. Only in this way can the strong cooperate. Song Lunhu thought to himself. He stretched out his palm. On his right hand, there was a pair of metal gloves, revealing the finger parts, emitting cold light, and extremely sharp. Boom. The body rushed out instantly. The palm clawed towards the opponent's back. The speed was so fast. The man in green was concentrating on receiving Yan Shizen's sword, but he didn't expect that someone was hiding around and attacked him. His back was grabbed by the opponent's palm, and a huge energy burst out from the opponent's palm. Ah! The man in green let out a low roar. Song Lunhu's palm tore the opponent's muscles, and then clenched it tightly, and punched the opponent behind. The terrifying energy rushed into the opponent's body. Boom. The green-clothed man was hit by the ki force. Blood spurted out of his mouth, and his body was blown away dozens of meters on the spot like a thrown brick, and his body hit a huge tree not far away. Crack. The huge tree collapsed. Yan Shizen, who was gathering his momentum, changed his eyes, and retracted his sword intent in an instant. The injured green-clothed man was not worthy of him using that sword. And if he used that sword, he would be injured. He would not use it if he could avoid it. Who is it? The green-clothed man who was attacked by Song Lunhu roared and stood up. A huge blood hole appeared on his back. He looked at Song Lunhu wrapped in black clothes with bloodshot eyes. The judge of life and death. The way of Samsara. Song Lunhu. The burly man saw the gloves covered with cold light on Song Lunhu's hands and roared angrily. Who are you? I don't know when such a terrifying physical warrior appeared in the martial arts world. If your mind had not been on Yanshizen just now, my claw would not have been able to break your flesh and blood. But this blow has broken your body. Today, this is where you are buried. I will remember your name in the future. Song Lanhu said coldly. While speaking, a strong bloody aura appeared on his body, and the aura in his palm surged, and he directly blasted towards the other party. Seeing this, the green-clothed man showed a fierce look on his face, stepped on the ground, and attacked Song Lanhu. The blood in his palm was full of blood. Even if he was injured, his blood was still strong. Bang! The two figures collided with each other, and the two figures retreated violently at the same time, but the green-clothed man took a few more steps backward. His body was broken, bleeding, and he was injured. Even if he had strong blood and ki, at this time, he couldn't collide with the other party head-on, and the retreating figure didn't hesitate at all, and went towards the dense forest in the distance. Escape from here. If he doesn't escape, he will die here. However, Yanshizen will not let him go. He flashed and appeared in front of him. He quickly slashed at the opponent with a long sword in his hand. How could he leave after coming here? He knew Yanshizen's sword energy. He was shocked and quickly came back to his senses. He slapped his palm to block Yanshizen's sword and moved to another place to leave from another place. But the moment his palm collided with Yanshizen's long sword, Yanshizen's sword light changed from slashing to stabbing, and the speed was extremely fast. Seeing this, the man in green retreated rapidly and tried to move his body to avoid the sword. But no matter how he changed, Yanshizen's sword still appeared at his heart. Swish! The previously broken body could not stop Yanshizen's sword. The long sword pierced into the heart vein, and blood spurted out. The man in green showed a cruel look on his face. He had no chance of survival. He wanted to take someone with him. He poured all his blood and energy into his palm and went towards Yanshizen. Bang! At this moment, a palm landed on his head. The metallic luster fell, scratching 5 blood holes in his head, and the blood and ki condensed in the palm of the green-clothed man all dissipated at once. Yanshizen turned his long sword, and the sword energy burst out and shattered the opponent's heart. You. The green-clothed man had a breath left, but before he finished speaking, his body fell to the ground. Looking at the body lying on the ground, a white bottle appeared in Song Lanhu's hand, and a stream of white powder fell on the other party's body. Then a pungent smoke came out of the green-clothed man's body, and the flesh and blood quickly turned into a pool of thick water, but some bones were difficult to melt. Song Lanhu's eyes condensed, and he stepped forward to check. The bones were reddish brown, and there was a feeling of developing in the direction of metal. I didn't expect his bones to be trained to this level. No wonder the body is so terrifying, but I haven't heard of this person. This world is really getting more and more interesting. Song Lanhu poured out some white powder again, and this time the remaining bones all turned into pus. Brother Yan, we can't stay here for long. Let's leave now, Song Lanhu said. Yanshizen nodded. The two disappeared into the dense forest. Not long after they left, a black figure appeared in the area. He looked at the traces of fighting around him, and after a careful investigation, he finally came to the thick water. He frowned slightly, turned around and left quickly. In the evening, in a room in Zenwu Garden, a man in black was kneeling in front of Qin Juan, who was wearing brocade clothes. It was the man in black who later appeared in the place where Yanshizen and his friends fought. 2 people, not 1 person. Could it be that other masters of the Qinglang Society have arrived? Qin Juan looked very bad. From the traces of fighting and the places where blood fell, I can see that the other person should have attacked by surprise and then joined forces with Yanshizen to kill number 3. The man in black replied. Qinglang Society, I thought you were too simple. I didn't expect that number 3, who had such a strong body, would die just like that. It's such a pity. Qin Juan sighed. General Manager, do we need to continue to find Yanshizen? The man in black continued. There are masters around him. We won't investigate for now. When they enter the city, they will show up. Then we will find a chance to surround and kill him. Has the investigation of the young master been successful? Qin Juan said softly. Now that Marquis Wu is not leaving the Marquis mansion, it is a bit difficult to investigate. However, the military has once again ordered Marquis Wu to leave the capital and go to the South China Sea within 10 days. The man in black said. Within 10 days? What does the military mean by this? Will they not protect Marquis de Wu? Qin Zhuoyuan frowned slightly. Continue to assist the young master in the investigation. In this matter, it is not easy for the younger generation to take action, even Marquis de Wu, but the safety of the young master must be taken care of. Qin Zhuoyuan ordered. I understand. After speaking, the man in black bowed and left the room. On the other side, Huang Xiangxing showed up at Shangguan Jinhang's residence without any hesitation. Mr. Pang has agreed to send a master of the Sea Concentration Realm to assist the 12th prince in killing Jin Fihang. You decide the plan. Huang Xiangxing said as he sat in front of Shangguan Jinhang. You showed up at my residence like this. Jin Fihang will definitely be suspicious of me and will send someone to check on me tonight. If he sends someone to check on me, that's when he'll take action. Tonight is the opportunity, Shangguan Jinhang said. Chapter 590. After tonight, take charge of the money gang. Tonight. Huang Xiangxing looked at the sky outside. Time is a bit urgent, but it should be okay. I will go back and report to young Master Pang and then bring people here. You also notify the 12th prince to send someone here. We will not take action unless the 12th prince's people come. Huang Xiangxing said and turned to leave. Send the news that Huang Xiangxing is here and tell Miran Fu about tonight's action. He knows what to do. Shangguan Jinhang stood up and said to Madame Yu, who was hiding behind the hall. He came to the threshold with his hands behind his back, looking at the sky, where the sunset had already appeared, with a fierce look on his face. After tonight, he, Shangguan Jinhang, will take charge of the money gang. There is a blood pool in the spacious secret room of the money gang. The blood pool is rectangular, about 2 meters long. At this moment, the blood pool is filled with dark red blood, and the whole secret room is filled with a strong bloody smell. The medicine slaves that were cultivated before have been absorbed by him. So he used the blood of warriors and mixed some medicine to make this blood pool. The whole blood pool was filled with blood and was extremely terrifying. The reason why Jin Fihang did this was that he watched the battle between Emperor Wu Hao and another person. Although he also stepped into the sea to concentrate, if he took Emperor Wu Hao's punch, he would be seriously injured if he didn't die. Now that the capital has changed and someone is targeting him, he must increase his strength. Jin Fihang took off his shirt and walked into the blood pool. The moment he walked into the blood pool, the blood in the blood pool began to boil, and the huge blood power unconsciously poured into his body. He started to absorb the blood power entering his body by running. Zuanji Zenmo Gong. As Zuanji Zenmo Gong was running, the blood in the blood pool began to boil, and it became more and more intense. The rolling blood evil energy appeared above the blood pool, filling the entire secret room. Jin Fihang in the blood pool didn't pay any attention to the blood evil energy that appeared. He closed his eyes and ran his body to absorb the blood energy. Bang bang bang. As the energy continued to flow in, Jin Fihang's heart began to beat violently. This beating became more and more rapid. As it beat rapidly, the aura around him began to increase. Creak. At this time, the stone door of the secret room was opened. A slender figure walked in from outside, and the strong evil spirit swept towards the other party. The face of the person who appeared turned pale. The strong blood evil spirit will affect the mind of the person. The weak strength will be weak to resist the strong blood evil spirit. The one who came in was Gao Silan, one of the 5 managers. Although her own strength has reached the 8 difficulties of heaven and man, the blood evil spirit is too strong, which shocked her mind for a while. As if sensing the appearance of Gao Silan, Jin Fihang in the blood pool opened his eyes. The blood evil spirit in the secret room quickly went into his body. Why are you in such a hurry to come here? Is there something wrong? Jin Fihang said. Boss, Huang Xiangxing from the Grand Tutor's mansion appeared in Shangguan He's mansion. He stayed for a short time and left in a hurry. Something must have happened. Gao Silan reported. Huang Xiangxing, Shangguan He, I didn't take action against Chu Shai and Tang because of Grand Tutor Pang's face. They still want to deal with me. You go to see Shangguan He and ask him to tell you what Huang Xiangxing wants to do with him. If he doesn't say it, then get rid of him. Jin Fihang said coldly. I understand. Gao Silan accepted the order. Don't leave yet. Is the cash I asked you to prepare ready? It's ready and can be sent out at any time. Gao Silan replied. 3 days later, Send it to Baixiang Pavilion through the secret passage and give it to Madame Ningxiang. You can go out. Jin Fihang said. Gao Silan bowed and left the secret room. On the other side, in the mansion of the 12th prince. Are you saying that Shangwen Jinhang wants to take action against Jin Fihang tonight? The 12th prince Liu he looked at Mireng Fu and said. He just sent someone to tell me that Mr. Pang has arranged for Huang Xiangxing to lead the Hei's Han Ningxian, and Shangwen he asked us to mobilize our forces to attack together. Your Highness, I have contacted Shangwen he. This person is very ambitious and may be difficult to control in the later stage. Earlier Yan Shizhen of the Qinglang Society appeared in the capital. I suspect that he was invited by Shangwen he. Mireng Fu said. There are some things that he must say in advance. After Shangwen Jinhang occupied the Jinqian gang, the master will come and will definitely announce his identity. At that time, the 12th prince may not get a single profit from it. He is in contact with Shangwen he. Then he will become a suspect. He has just entered the Northern Pacification Division and needs the help of the 12th prince, so he must not let the 12th prince suspect him. Isn't it good to have ambition? Without ambition, who can accomplish anything? The 12th prince said. Master, I'm ready. Brothers of the Peng family, come out and go to Shangwen he's mansion with Mireng Fu. As the 12th prince finished speaking, two figures walked out from the dark. The two men looked similar, both wearing grey tights, and they didn't look like any masters. But Mireng Fu's mind was focused. He didn't sense the two men in the room at all, but now his strength is about to reach the 9th level of heaven and man. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but sigh. Bai Chaofei and Shangwen Jinhang have both reached the 9th level of heaven and man. I still need to speed up my cultivation progress and try to reach the 9th level of heaven and man before entering the Northern Pacification Division. Mireng Fu said in his heart. Your actions should follow Mireng Fu's arrangements. Go. The 12th prince ordered. Yes. The three bowed and left. After the two left, Hang Eluo on the side said, Your Highness, Mireng Fu's reminder makes sense. We should still be on guard against Shangwen he. If Shangwen he still needs me, he will naturally give me my benefits. If he doesn't need me, it means he has a foundation. Just treat it as making a friend. The 12th prince said in a very calm tone. Hearing the words of the 12th prince, Hang Eluo's eyes were slightly startled, but she was very surprised. When will your pavilion master come out of seclusion? He said he would come out of seclusion to see me last time, but there has been no movement. I don't want to wait too long. In addition to your shadow sect, I can choose other forces. After saying that, the 12th prince slowly walked out of the room. Hang Eluo, who was left behind, felt depressed. She knew that the 12th prince had opinions about their shadow sect, but the pavilion master was not in the capital now, so she couldn't arrange a meeting. It's better to inform the pavilion master of this news as soon as possible and see how the pavilion master responds. Then Hang Eluo followed him out of the room. Here Shangwen Jinhang's mansion. Gao Silan led 4 people into the mansion. In the hall, Shangwen Jinhang stepped forward to greet. Gao Shishi, how come you have time to come to my mansion? Shangwen he, I came here on the orders of the gang leader. Huang Xiangxing came to your mansion today. Tell me what you talked about in detail. Gao Silan looked at Shangwen Jinhang with sharp eyes. Gao Silan didn't care about Shangwen Jinhang. A person who got the position of manager by giving money to Yang Guanjia must be extremely powerful. She didn't need to be polite at all. If Shangwen he didn't say anything, she didn't need him to say anything. She would just kill him directly. This way, the people in the gang could see the consequences of colluding with foreign enemies. Even if they were managers, they would be killed. Chapter 591, Breaking into the Money Gang and Encircling and Killing Jin Fihang. Seeing this, Shangwen Jinhang's eyes turned cold. Gao Silan, don't threaten me with the leader. Manager Huang came here just to cooperate with me on something. It doesn't matter if you tell me about this. The cooperation is to kill Jin Fihang. At this moment, Shangwen Jinhang no longer has to worry because Gao Silan can't leave his Shangwen mansion. Hearing Shangwen Jinhang's words, Gao Silan was stunned at first, but then her face changed drastically. Shangwen he, you are looking for death. I will take off your head on behalf of the leader today. While Gao Silan was speaking, her palms turned into claws, and she wanted to take off Shangwen Jinhang's head in one go. But when she moved, Shangwen Jinhang had already moved. The distance between the two was not far. The golden ring in Shangwen Jinhang's hand turned into a golden light and rushed out instantly. Before Gao Silan's palm reached his head, the golden ring had already rushed to the other's throat. Gao Silan's heart suddenly chilled, and she wanted to grab the golden ring with her hand. But the golden ring was fast and hit her throat. 2 consecutive collisions shattered her throat. Your strength. Gao Silan looked at Shangwen Jinhang, and she couldn't believe that she was not as fast as him. And the power of the golden ring was very strong. Gao Silan fell to the ground with a plop. The 4 people who followed her changed their expressions when they saw this, and 3 of them turned and ran away. However, the 3 who ran away turned around and took 2 steps before they fell to the ground with a plop. White foam appeared at the corners of their mouths, and they were dead in an instant. Madam, you had already arranged poison in this courtyard. Shangwen manager, don't kill me. I know the whereabouts of a sum of cash. The person who did not run away immediately said loudly. Hearing this person's words, Shangwen Jinhang became interested. Take him down. I want to know the whereabouts of that sum of cash. Shangwen Jinhang looked at Madame Yu, who came in and said. After speaking, he stepped out and headed towards the direction of the hall of the mansion. At this moment, the lights in the hall began to brighten. 5 figures were sitting in the hall. Seeing Shangwen Jinhang coming, Huang Xiangxing said, Shangwen, now that we have dealt with the people, we should leave. Let's go. Shangwen Jinhang nodded. Then the 6 people left the mansion. The money gang seemed a little quiet at the moment, and only the sound of insects could be heard. 6 figures appeared in the backyard of the money gang, and they went towards the direction of the secret room, where Jin Fihan was in retreat. Under the night, these people avoided the money gang guards and soon appeared in the place where Jin Fihan was in retreat. Who dares to trespass into the important place of my money gang? At this time, several money gang disciples walked out of the darkness around the secret room. The leader looked at the 6 people who appeared and said sternly. They were some elite disciples of the money gang, responsible for the daily patrols to protect Jin Fihan's secret room. After speaking, it seemed that Shangwen Jinhang was recognized. Shangwen manager, what do you mean by bringing people here without the gang leader's call? Sometimes, you don't need to ask so many questions. If you know too much, you will die faster. Shangwen Jinhang, while speaking, flashed and appeared in front of the leader, slapping him on the chest. The leader was blasted by the palm and flew backwards, crashing into the rockery not far away. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, he was no longer alive. As for the other people, a sword flashed in the darkness, and the heads of several people fell to the ground in an instant. Jing Wuming came secretly to attack. No wonder Shangwen here is ambitious. It turns out that he has arranged so many things. Huang Xiangxing recognized Jing Wuming, the new manager of the Jinqian gang, Jin Yi, who had killed Xu Xianba's wife before. Boom! After killing these people, Shangwen Jinhang appeared on the stone door of the secret room. The energy in his hand surged, tearing the air and slapping the stone door fiercely. Bang! The stone door exploded, but then a terrifying energy burst out from the secret room. Shangwen Jinhang quickly retreated, looking at the stone gate with a serious look. At the stone gate, Jin Fihan walked out, with murderous intent in his eyes. He looked at the 6 people standing in front of him with a sharp look. After Jing Wuming made his move, he hid his figure again. Shangwen He, the Peng brothers, Huang Xiangxing, Duan Mufeng. Jin Fihan knew the identities of the 4 people at a glance. As for Mirenfu, he didn't know him, so he didn't call out his name. His last look stayed on Duan Mufeng, and a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. Because he knew that Duan Mufeng was a guest official in the Sea of Concentration in the residence of Grand Tutor Pang. 12th Prince, Grand Tutor Pang, Shangwen He, you are really ambitious. I underestimated you for being able to cooperate with these 2 parties. Jin Fihan then set his eyes on Shangwen Jinhang. He didn't care about Shangwen Jinhang before. Well, your strength is also in the 9 difficulties of heaven and man, and your concealment skills are good. You can even hide it from me. Jin Fihan, today is your death day. From now on, the Jinqian gang belongs to me. Shangwen He. Shangwen Jinhang stepped forward and said coldly. A domineering aura of a hero also rose from his body. So confident, then let me see your strength. Boom. As soon as the voice fell, Jin Fihang stomped on the ground fiercely, and the ground exploded instantly. His figure quickly moved towards Shangwen Jinhong, with his palm raised. He wanted to get rid of Shangwen Jinhong, the traitor, with one palm. But he moved, and Duan Mufeng behind Shangwen Jinhong also immediately took action, slapped his palm, and collided with Jin Fihang's palm. Bang! The airwave swept across. The huge force directly exploded into airflow. Zuanji's NMO blood-killing hand. After the attack was blocked, Jin Fihang roared, and his ki and blood surged at the same time. The terrifying ki wave shook out an invisible ripple, spreading in all directions. His palm became wider, and a strong blood color appeared. His eyes became more fierce. The wide palm slapped again. At this time, Duan Mufeng did not hesitate. His ki burst out, and a terrifying divine power was activated. He used all his strength as soon as he attacked. This matter cannot be delayed for too long. Otherwise, Zhen Wuyan will know and send people to come. When Duan Mufeng unfolded his divine power, the Peng brothers beside Mirenfu also attacked instantly. Exploding divine fist. Boom. The two had the same moves. A powerful wave of power burst out from his fist, like a bomb, and went towards Jin Fihang. Seeing this, Jin Fihang's face condensed, and his ki and blood began to burn, and a bloody force appeared on his body. His palm first fought with Duan Mufeng. The ki power of both sides was not much different, and both of them retreated several steps. But at this moment, the ki power of the Peng brothers' fists fell on his body. Bang! The fist fell, accompanied by a dull sound, and Jin Fihang's body was shaken and flew backwards, hitting the rockery-like secret room behind him. Boom. The ki power exploded, and the secret room behind him was shattered. The body rushed out instantly. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, but there was not much loss of ki and blood on his body. He looked at the few people who made a move, and turned around to escape. But the few people who made a move would not give him a chance to escape. Especially Duan Mufeng, who appeared in front of him like a ghost, slapped his palms, and the powerful ki power enveloped the opponent without giving him a chance to escape. The Peng brothers punched and cooperated with Duan Mufeng to make a move. Bang, bang, bang. There were huge and dense explosions, and several figures fought crazily at an extremely fast speed. The airflow around him kept exploding, and the violent sound of the air explosion was like a continuous thunder. In this intensive fight, Jin Fihang was always in a defensive state. This is not a solution. I must find a way to leave. Jin Fihang resisted the attacks of several people and thought to himself. Chapter 592, The Peerless Person Yao Lion Crossing. On the other side, Shangwen Jinhong's eyes were fixed on the battle, and his body slowly moved towards the battlefield. Suddenly, he saw a gap, and his body instantly shot out and punched out, landing on Jin Fihang's back. Jin Fihang, who had been resisting the attacks of the three people, was hit on the back by Shangwen Jinhong's punch, and his body tilted to the side. Swish. At this moment, a sinister sword light rushed out, and cut off one of Jin Fihang's arms with one sword. Ah! Jin Fihang let out a scream, and the energy in his body surged, directly knocking Jing Wuming, who had made the move, flying out. Jing Wuming's whole body was like a broken kite, hitting the stone pillar in the corridor, spurting blood from his mouth, his face pale. He struggled to take out a bottle of pills from his arms and swallowed it. At this time, a disciple of the Jinqian gang who was attracted by the fight here saw the seriously injured Jing Wuming, and came towards him. Jing Wuming raised his hand and grabbed, and a suction force caught the other party in his hand. The blood in the body of the Jinqian gang disciple was instantly absorbed, and Jing Wuming's pale face turned ruddy. His injuries recovered a little. He glanced at Jin Fihang's head, and turned away without any hesitation. Jing Wuming can absorb blood to recover from his injuries, but there are equally, and he will suffer greater pain after a while. It's no use staying here. Seeing this, the other people didn't hesitate to do their best to deal with Jin Fihang, whose arm was cut off. Under the siege of several people, Jin Fihang's head was blasted off, and his body fell to the ground unwillingly. He didn't expect that he would die like this. Shangwen He, I'll leave the rest to you. We'll leave first. At this time, Huang Xiangxing, who had not taken action, spoke. As soon as he finished speaking, he led his people to leave the Jinqian gang quickly. We'll leave too, and let Shangwen gang leader deal with this. Murungfu also left quickly with his people. Jin Fihang is dead, their mission has been completed, and it will depend on Shangwen Jinhang himself next. He believes in Shangwen Jinhang's arrangement. At this time, figures rushed in from outside the money gang, led by Madame Yu. As she attacked, disciples of the money gang kept falling down. Some of them wanted to resist, but the golden ring in Shangwen Jinhang's hand flew out instantly, shattering their throats. Huang Xiangxing had already left, so his golden ring could be used now. Take over the money gang completely. Announce to the public that I'm the leader of the money gang. Shangwen Jinhang said. What about Luzan? His strength is extraordinary. Madame Yu said. The 5 managers now only have Qin Gang and Luzan. Qin Gang is the weakest, and Shangwen Jinhang had subdued him before. As for Luzan, he has been quiet recently. You took over the power of Luo Yehung and Gao Silan overnight. These powers are gathered in your hands. Luzan alone can't cause much trouble. If he doesn't surrender, kill him. Shangwen Jinhang said coldly. Now he can exert the power of the Dragon and Phoenix Golden Ring with all his strength, and fight with ordinary Dinshin Huahei strongmen. His strength in Luzan is as difficult as Gao Silan, and it is easy to kill him. At this time, Su Chen, who was on his way to Jiangnan, was practicing in an inn late at night. Shangwen Jinhang defeated the Jinqian gang and got 1 orange lottery card. Shangwen Jinhang defeated the Jinqian gang. It seems that Jin Fihang is dead. Su Chen thought to himself. Then he looked at his lottery card. Now he has 4 orange lottery cards and 2 blue lottery cards. First, draw the 4 orange lottery cards. Su Chen thought to himself. Get 1 Shangwen Jinhang 20-year Shinran Realm Key Cultivation card, get the character Yao Yu, get the character Liangxing, and get Murungfu Shinran Realm 30-year Key Cultivation card. Su Chen's eyes showed excitement. This lottery can be said to be very good. Shangwen Jinhang and Murungfu's cultivation has been improved. In 20 years, 30 years, I believe that the strength of the two will be able to step into the Danshan Huahei realm. As for Yao Yu Liangxing, Su Chen did not expect that there would be 2 such peerless characters. The only female characters who appeared before were Liu Sheng Piaoxu and Rihao, but now 2 female characters appear at once. Yao Yu and Liangxing are very famous. They are both characters in the Twins of the Red Lotus. Yao Yu is the Grand Palace Master of Yehua Palace. She has an extremely beautiful face and a pair of bright eyes. She has an extraordinary temperament, peerless elegance, indifferent and cruel temperament, and cold and noble temperament. Some people call Yao Yu the #1 beauty in the world. As for Liangxing, she is Yao Yu's younger sister. Her stunning appearance and noble temperament are not inferior to Yao Yu. She is also a peerless beauty with peerless elegance, but she is a little tragic. The 2 sisters both admire Jiangfeng, which leads to loneliness in their lives. I hope I don't draw Jiangfeng. Su Chen thought to himself. There are so many beauties in the world, Su Chen must take one of them. While thinking about it, he began to check the strength of the 2. Yao Yu's strength is to concentrate her mind in the sea, and she has break at the end. As for Liangxing, her strength is to transform her Danshan into the sea, which is close to concentrating her mind in the sea. This is reasonable. Yao Yu's Mingyu Gong has been cultivated to the 9th level, and Liangxing has the 8th level. Shangwen Jinhang has taken down the Jinqian gang, so the South Pavilion of Xian'ai Pavilion should come out. Yao Yu and Liangxing will go to the capital first. Yao Yu can be the deputy pavilion master of the South Pavilion, and Liangxing will be Yao Yu's deputy. After all, the 2 sisters are rarely separated, so there is no need to give Liangxing the position of deputy pavilion master. Su Chen arranged this in his mind, and then summoned 2 people, and told them some of the situations in this world. The next morning, the 2 went to the capital ahead of Su Chen. As for Su Chen and his friends, they continued to rush towards Jinling City. 3 days later, Su Chen, Zhao Xiaodi and Zhuang Zhuangji appeared on a cruise ship in Jinling City. Standing on the top floor of the cruise ship, looking at the beautiful scenery of Jinling Lake. Have you found the whereabouts of your master? If there is still no news, I may have to go to the Imperial City first. Su Chen looked at Zhao Xiaodi and said. She has contacted me to meet tomorrow, and Master Su can take action tomorrow. Zhao Xiaodi said. Okay, Zuanji, do you have any clues about Hua Liu? Where is that batch of silver now? Su Chen then asked Zuanji on the side. Hua Liu did not contact us. That batch of silver is circulated in the black market and has entered the bank controlled by the underground black market force, Ghost Tomb. This Ghost Tomb has a long history of underground power in the black market of Jinling. It is rumored that it is related to the 4 great families in Jiangnan. Of course, this is just a rumor and has never been confirmed. Moreover, based on the usual style of the Ghost Tomb, this batch of silver should have been dispersed. Zuanji said. Send a message to Hua Liu and ask her to come to me within a day. If she doesn't show up, General Guan will have something against her. When Hua Liu was in the Lingjiang area, she was subdued by Guan Yushan and became Guan Yushan's subordinate. Chapter 593, Palace of Bliss, Jade Bone Demon Lady, Qinglang Society, 7 Dragon Leaders Wei Zhuang, Yunhei Academy. This is one of the 4 academies in Jinling City. Inside the academy, scholars come and go, which is a little different from what everyone thinks of an academy. The scholars here all practice martial arts and have a good foundation. Daza is a world of martial arts, and those who practice literature also need to know martial arts so that they can obtain higher official positions. Behind the academy is where the instructors live, in a simple room. In the room, there are antique furniture, and in the center stands a woman in a green robe. The woman stands there, but she exudes a charm that only mature women have. In addition, she has a slender figure and exquisite curves, outlining all kinds of charm. This woman in green is Zhao Xiaodi's master, the Jade Bone Demon Girl of the Paradise Palace. No one would have thought that the Jade Bone Demon Girl of the Paradise Palace would actually be an instructor of Yunhei Academy. In front of her stood a middle-aged woman with a bit of charm. The woman's eyes were restrained, and she looked like a master. What's the matter with Zhao girl looking for me so anxiously? Jade Bone Fairy asked. She was in a good mood recently. The heavenly thought stone that Zhao Xiaodi exchanged with the evil alliance was very useful to her. She could vaguely feel that the time for her to gather her divine power was coming soon. Daughter, she said she went to meet Su Chen, the young leader of the Green Dragon Society, and then separated from me. Now that she is back, she should have contacted the Green Dragon Society. The woman said. Yan Shizan of the Green Dragon Society killed Shihan Zhao of the Zhenwu Garden in the capital, and his name spread to the capital. If we can get in touch with the Green Dragon Society, it would be great. Tell Xiaodi to meet me at the brunch in the evening. Jade Bone Fairy said. Yes. The woman bowed and left the room. After the woman left the room, the green-robed woman tidied her robes and walked out of the room. Some students she met along the way greeted her enthusiastically. After leaving the academy, after a while, Jade Bone Fairy appeared outside a manor in the city, but she had changed her green clothes into black clothes, with a veil on her face, and stepped into the manor. Inside the manor, a group of guards bowed to see the Jade Bone Fairy. The Jade Bone Fairy went straight to the courtyard hall. Outside the hall, there was a man with a face full of flesh, directing some people in black to move boxes of things. When he saw the Jade Bone Fairy, he immediately stepped forward and waved his hand to let the people moving things leave. Hello, sir. The fat man stepped forward and bowed. How is the goods this time? Jade Bone Fairy said, looking at the boxes in front of her. These are the bliss powders that have just been refined. They will be delivered to the buyers immediately. Sir, our goods this month are twice as much as last month. The goal set by the sir before can be completed by the end of this month. The fat man said immediately. Okay, keep all the cash and send it out at the end of the month. You guys continue. I'm in the secret room in the backyard. When Zhao Xiaodi comes, ask her to find me in the secret room. After saying that, he headed towards the backyard. The fat man continued to recruit people to move the boxes. Another place, Jinling Lake. On a cruise ship in the lake. Master Su, the meeting place is at the branch of the Paradise Palace. This is the address of our branch. I don't know who will take action tonight. I hope there will be no survivors in this branch. Zhao Xiaodi came to Su Chen and handed him a note. Chen took the note and said, "It's just a branch, not the headquarters. Didn't you say that your headquarters of the Paradise Palace is in Jinling City?" "The headquarters of the Paradise Palace does exist, and it is definitely in Jinling City. It's just very mysterious. I don't know, but my master should know," Zhao Xiaodi said in a deep voice. "Even you don't know. It seems there is something. As for your master, I have arranged people. Now that we have the address, there will be no survivors in this place at night," Chen said. "Spread this address." Chen handed the address to Yuan Suan. The strength of the Jade Bone Demon Girl. Zhao Xiaodi has already told Chen that her strength has not yet stepped into the sea to concentrate. However, she is using the Shionium Stone she got from the Evil Alliance recently. She wants to use the Shionium Stone to gather her divine power and step into the sea to concentrate. So the one who took action was Wei Zhuang, who had already arrived in the Jiangnan area. Yuan Suan saluted and left quickly. "Didn't Senior Yi and Senior Zeman take action?" Zhao Xiaodi looked at Yuan Suan who was leaving and asked in confusion. "This is Jiangnan, where the 7 dragon heads of the Qinglan Club are stationed. Of course, your master will be arranged and resolved by him," Chen said. Hearing this, Zhao Xiaodi's expression moved, and even Zhuang's expression beside her moved slightly. They didn't expect that the 7 dragon heads of the Qinglan Club would actually be in Jiangnan. Could it be Fu Hongxue who appeared earlier? But Fu Hongxue is the 4th dragon leader. Who could it be? Zhao Xiaodi thought to herself. No one has seen him, Chen said, and then stopped talking. Jade Bone Fairy is attacking the sea concentration, which can be said to be a strong man in the Danshan transformation sea realm. Wei Zhuang's strength is also close to the sea concentration. Wei Zhuang doesn't seem to have any advantage in realm, but Wei Zhuang is a killer, and he believes that Wei Zhuang can get rid of Jade Bone Fairy. Seeing Chen, he didn't say anything more. Zhao Xiaodi was also very tactful and didn't ask any more questions. Late at night, the Jile Palace branch was a little quiet. A man with a face full of flesh was sitting in the hall, eating meat and drinking wine. He was waiting for Zhao Xiaodi to come. Suddenly, a weak whirlwind appeared. Zhao Xiaodi appeared at the door of the hall. The man with flesh saw Zhao Xiaodi and put down the big piece of meat in his hand. "Daughter Xiaodi, you are a little late. The master has been waiting for you for a long time." The chubby man glanced at Zhao Xiaodi, his eyes unscrupulously looking at Zhao Xiaodi. "Where is the master?" Zhao Xiaodi's eyes were filled with disgust. "The master is in the secret room. You can see the master when you go to the secret room," the chubby man said. While he was speaking, his nostrils suddenly moved, as if he smelled something. "Blood smell. There are enemies." The chubby man's face changed, and a trace of coldness appeared in his eyes. He stood up. He appeared at the door with a big step. "You go to see the master first. I will go to see who dares to come here." Just as he finished speaking, Zhao Xiaodi, who was standing at the door, suddenly made a move and slapped the chubby man's Danshan with a palm. Bang! The chubby man didn't expect Zhao Xiaodi to attack him at all, and his body was directly shaken away by this palm. The Danshan was hit by the ki force, and he immediately spit out a mouthful of blood, and his back was severely injured. Zhao Xiaodi flashed in front of the other party, grabbed the other party's throat with her slender palm, and suddenly exerted force. Crack. Without giving the other party any chance to speak, she directly broke the other party's throat. The move was decisive and ruthless. Her eyes looked towards the backyard. "Yugu Yaoji, I will send you to death tonight." There was a deep hatred in her eyes. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 594, Darkness Before the Eyes, Head Flying Off. From Zhao Xiaodi's eyes, it can be known that this Jade Bone Fairy has a deep hatred for her. Zhao Xiaodi stood up and walked towards the secret room in the backyard. The backyard seemed very quiet. There was no one. Zhao Xiaodi pushed open the door of the courtyard. The creaking sound seemed very crisp in the quiet night. "You are here." What's the matter with you so anxious to find me? A voice came from the courtyard. As the voice appeared, the door of the wing room and the courtyard opened. The fishbone fairy in black walked out of the wing room. Her eyes fell on Zao Xiaodi who came in, and her eyes suddenly changed. How come the pure yin energy in your body has become so little? You were taken away by someone. The voice of the jade bone fairy became cold and fierce, and her eyes stared at Zao Xiaodi closely. Zao Xiaodi was the gift she was going to give to that adult. But now Zao Xiaodi's pure yin energy has almost disappeared. How can she not be angry? Who is it? Who took your body? Jade Bone Fairy came in front of Zao Xiaodi, but then her face changed again. You didn't lose your virginity. What happened? Tell me what happened? Just as she asked the question, Zao Xiaodi raised her palm. A sharp aura emanated from her fingers and grabbed directly at the face of Jade Bone Fairy. In front of her, Jade Bone Fairy had never expected that Zao Xiaodi would attack her. Ah! Jade Bone Fairy screamed. 5 bloody marks were scratched on her face, and one of her eyes was hit by the aura, and blood flowed out. Boom! Jade Bone Fairy was a strong man in the Danshan Hua realm after all. At this moment, a huge aura burst out from her body. After Zao Xiaodi succeeded in one blow, she quickly retreated and avoided the aura that burst out from Jade Bone Fairy. Zao Xiaodi, you dare to sneak attack me? Today I will tear you apart. Jade Bone Fairy's face became extremely ferocious. The veil on her face had fallen to the ground. 5 bloodstains appeared on her beautiful face, and one of her eyes was blurred, with drops of blood flowing out of it, which looked extremely terrifying. Yugu Yaoji, you killed my whole family to make me worship you as your master. Do you think I don't know? Today is your death day, Zao Xiaodi said sternly. Bitch, you actually knew it, but even if you knew it, what does it matter? With your strength, even if I'm injured, I can still kill you. But I have changed my mind now. I will not kill you. I will send you to Baoan building in the black market. I believe there will be many people who like you there. When Yugu Yaoji spoke, her body leaped and turned into a residual image, grabbing Zao Xiaodi with one palm. Just when she moved, a figure appeared in the courtyard. The person who came was thin and had a head full of white hair. Under the night light, he looked very white and bright, with a golden headband on his head and a coat printed with golden and black patterns on his body. He looked very noble standing there. His eyes were cold, with a domineering look in his coldness. A terrifying killing intent emanated from her body, enveloping the Jade Bone Fairy who had made the move. Jade Bone Fairy felt a chill in her heart. She stopped moving her hands. It was not because she wanted to stop, but because she felt in her heart that, even if she did not stop, she could not catch Zao Xiaodi. Who are you? Jade Bone Fairy looked at the person who appeared with one eye remaining. The person who appeared was Wei Zhuang, who had brought people to Jiangnan before. At this time, screams were heard in the manor. Wei Zhuang did not come alone. He also brought other killers. No one could leave alive. Zao Xiaodi also looked at Wei Zhuang with her beautiful eyes. Is this the 7th dragon head of the Qinglang Society? She guessed in her heart. When she thought so, a strong and terrifying aura permeated Wei Zhuang. He stepped forward step by step towards Jade Bone Fairy. Every time he stepped down, the ground would shake slightly, which was caused by a kind of energy fluctuation under his feet. Jade Bone Fairy's face changed slightly. She was afraid of the power of the other party, but then light flashed in her eyes. You should be a member of the Qinglang Society. We Jile Palace have no grudges against you. Qinglang Society, Yugu Yaoji said. You take money from others and help them get rid of disasters. Someone pays you to take your life, so you must die today. Wei Zhuang's voice was indifferent, and the aura on his body became stronger and stronger. Then you don't have that chance. The moment he spoke, a bead appeared in Yugu Yaoji's hand. Tang Sect Thunderbolt. Zao Xiaodi, who was far away, saw what Yugu Yaoji was holding, and her face changed. Boom. Yugu Yaoji threw the thunderbolt in her hand towards Wei Zhuang, making a rumbling sound, and turned around, and rushed out of the courtyard quickly. But when she moved, a figure followed her out of the smoke of the explosion. Zao Xiaodi in the courtyard also followed her out. Yugu Yaoji appeared in the front yard of the courtyard. There were already more corpses on the ground. Some people from Gile Palace in the manor gathered together. They surrounded each other, and their eyes were terrified and vigilant. Seeing the Jade Bone Fairy rushing over, these people were delighted, but when they saw the Jade Bone Fairy's face, some of them were shocked. "Stop the people behind you," Jade Bone Fairy said sternly. As long as she could delay the people behind her for a while, she would have time to escape. The group of people gathered together instinctively rushed towards the figure behind Jade Bone Fairy. Just a flash of light passed by, and these people let out a miserable cry. The weapons in their hands fell to the ground, their hands covered their throats, blood spurted wildly, and they began to fall to the ground in fear. Jade Bone Fairy's expression changed, and she wanted to speed up. But her figure suddenly stopped, because Wei Zhuang's figure had appeared in front of her, and his robes had not changed at all. Kill. Seeing this, Jade Bone Fairy knew that she could not escape, so she could only fight. Her eyes were fierce, and her feet quickly stepped on the ground. The power of the Danshan turned into a sea in her body instantly erupted, and the surging Qijin swarmed out, and her palm slammed towards Wei Zhuang. The momentum has weakened, and the strength has also weakened, Wei Zhuang said to himself in front of her. She had read the information about the strength of Jade Bone Fairy before. It was rumored that she would gather divine power, but now that they met, he was a little disappointed. Originally, he wanted to use Jade Bone Fairy to see if he could take that step, but now the momentum of the other party has weakened. The distance is not very far, and the other party's figure is like lightning, and it arrives in the blink of an eye. The energy in the palm is mighty, with the gloomy cold air, and it hits Wei Zhuang's chest fiercely. Just when the other party's palm is about to touch his chest, Wei Zhuang's hand holding the long sword moved instantly, and a terrifying sword light rushed out. The sword light covered the blurred eyes of Jade Bone Fairy. Then she felt a pain in her neck, and wanted to twist her head. But it was pitch black. The head flew up, and fell to the ground. Zhao Xiaodi came and saw this scene with horror. Just now, she only saw Jade Bone Fairy rushing in front of Wei Zhuang, and then a terrifying sword light rushed out, and Jade Bone Fairy's head flew up. Chapter 595. Paradise Palace. Do Gu Weiwo and Mirren King Chen's affairs can be done. On the cruise ship, Su Chen showed a happy expression on his face. After the Paradise Palace branch was surrounded and killed, they actually found 10 million taels of cash. The profit of this paradise powder is so high, but why hasn't so much cash been transported away? Su Chen looked at Zhao Xiaodi with some doubts. I don't know about this either. In the past, the branch didn't keep cash, and it would be transported away immediately if there was any. Zhao Xiaodi said in a deep voice. She didn't know why there was so much cash in the branch. It seems that it should be prepared for someone. Now the only one who needs cash is General Du Guiwei. Could it be that Paradise Palace has something to do with General Wang? Zhuangji said on the side. Hearing this, Su Chen frowned slightly. Zhuangji's speculation was not unreasonable. Miss Zhao, your master has died, and the branch has been destroyed. Will you be implicated? Su Chen looked at Zhao Xiaodi. I want to join the Green Dragon Club and become a subordinate of Wei Zhuang Longshao. I wonder if Su Xiao Longshao can help. Zhao Xiaodi did not answer Su Chen's words, but wanted to become Wei Zhuang's subordinate. Su Chen said that Wei Zhuang's activities were in the Jiangnan area, so if she became Wei Zhuang's subordinate, she would be able to protect herself. Looking at Zhao Xiaodi, Su Chen's eyes moved slightly. Very smart. I will tell Wei Longshao about this matter. There should be no problem. I believe Miss Zhao can reflect her value in my Qinglan Club. Zhao Xiaodi is still a member of Gile Palace. This identity is still useful. What's more, Gile Palace is now raising silver, and there must be more than one place. There are other places. Although he couldn't get the huge amount of cash that Dugu gave me before, if he could get cash from other places, this trip to Jinling would also be full of gains. Master, Vice President Liu is here. Yuan Suan walked in from outside. I'll leave first. Zhao Xiaodi didn't want others to know that she was in contact with the Qinglan Club. After a while, Yuan Suan took Liu into the boat. At this moment, Liu was wearing ordinary clothes and a bamboo hat on her face. After entering the boat, she took off her bamboo hat. Her hair was piled high. Although she was wearing cloth, she still had a lot of charm. After all, when a woman reaches a certain age, she must be natural. Meet Master Su. Hu Liao bowed. Although she was loyal to Guan Yushan had a special relationship with Su Chen, so she was respectful to Su Chen. Master Su, that batch of silver has entered the black market and has been dispersed. It is impossible to find it, and it seems that the people who had it all disappeared at once. Maybe they raised funds through other channels. Hu Liao said in a deep voice. Originally, I thought I could win Guan Yushan's favor with this batch of silver. I didn't expect that there would be no clues after investigating Jinling. Hearing Hu Liao's words, Su Chen's eyes lit up, and this confirmed Zhuang's previous guess. This Paradise Palace should be raising cash for Du Guiwei. But what is their relationship? Zhao Xiaodi and Wei Zhuang will have to find out later. Is that so? The clue is broken, which means we don't need to stay in Jinling. Su Chen frowned. Indeed. Hu Liao nodded. Is that so? Then we won't stay in Jinling anymore. I heard that the capital is very lively recently. He even came to Jiangnan. So it's a good opportunity to go to the capital. Su Chen said. Hearing this, Hu Liao was stunned. She didn't expect Su Chen to go to the capital in person. Now that the Qinglan Club is in the capital, it is extraordinary. Master Su, the capital is in a state of flux now. I'm afraid there will be. Hu Liao didn't finish the rest of the words. She knew that Su Chen could understand what she meant. Qinglan Club, Yanshizhen Guild, Zhenwu Garden, Shihanzhou in the capital. If Su Chen went to the capital, Zhenwu Garden might take action against Su Chen. Since I dare to go, my safety is naturally guaranteed. How can I miss such a big event in the capital? Su Chen said softly. Kinhu on a small island in a pavilion. The Paradise Palace branch was destroyed, Jade Bone Fairy was killed, and the money collected was taken away. Do you know who did it? Inside the building, a charming lady in black palace dress looked at the servant in green kneeling in front of her and said coldly, all the people in the branch were dissolved with corpse powder, and many things cannot be found. Based on the traces of fighting, and some traces left in the secret room, where the money was stored, I can confirm that a lot of people came. The servant in green kneeling on the ground said hurriedly. A lot of people went there, and the money was taken away. Are you saying that the other party did it for the batch of cash? The beautiful lady in palace dress frowned slightly. My guess is. The servant in green replied. Notify other branches to start handing over the cash immediately. You should quickly move it to the black market. After thinking for a moment, the palace-dressed beauty said, they took away 10 million in cash. Such a large amount of cash, whether it is circulated in a normal bank or in the black market, there will be clues. We must find out who took our cash. After finding it, take my token and go to the headquarters to let the 4 evil slaves take action. A trace of ferocity flashed in the eyes of the palace-dressed beauty. Yes. The green-clothed servant bowed and left the room. After the green-clothed servant left, the palace-dressed woman slowly stood up, walked to the edge of the pavilion, and looked at the lake outside. Are you here just for the money, or have you found something? The palace-dressed beauty said softly. At this time, the capital, Jinfengxiao Tower. Bei Chaofu's face showed excitement, and his eyes were fixed on his hands. Although his palms were no different from usual, there was indeed a pair of gloves on his palms. When the gloves were put on his hands, they turned into liquid and melted into his palms. As long as he burst out his ki, the gloves would appear, which was very powerful. At this time, Nalan Rangan walked in from outside. After receiving the notice, she rushed back from Jiangnan. But Nalan Rangan didn't expect that so many things happened in the capital during the time she was away. Shangguan Jinhang took down the Jinqian gang, and Mirengfu entered the Northern Pacification Division. Yan Shizhen arrived in the capital, and killed Shihanzhou, Zhenwu Garden. In addition, Fu Hongxue came separately from her. King Long who has 2 powerful people who concentrate on the sea in the capital. But Nalan Rangan's face showed sorrow. Because Leng Hushan and the others did not return to the capital with her, but went to the Lingjiang area, the 10 Directions General Envoy of Shian'er Pavilion summoned them back. Master, what is our current strength? Nalan Rangan said. We are much stronger now than before. The young master sent 3 masters, who are already in the capital. 2 of them have reached the Danshan Transformation Sea, and 1 is a Heavenly Manjiunan. However, the Heavenly Manjiunan will soon enter the Danshan Transformation Sea. Yan Shizan and Fu Hongxue will help us to a certain extent. As if seeing Nalan Rangan's worry, Bei Chaofei spoke. After speaking, Bei Chaofei seemed to have thought of something. Go and leave a secret signal, and tell Miss Qingchen that the things she entrusted to you before can be done now. Chapter 596, Xian Jianxi, Lang Jiacheng, Zhen Wuyan, Sima Yun was attacked. In the palace of Xian Jianxi, Miran Qingchen was frowning. In front of her, a middle-aged man in blue was holding a secret letter in his hand and looking at it quietly. Deputy Supervisor Lan, there are many masters in the capital now. Should we send out the divine guards to suppress these people? Miran Qingchen looked up at the middle-aged man in blue next to him and said. The man in blue was Lan Jiacheng, the deputy director of Xian Jianxi, who was in charge of the most powerful and mysterious divine guards of Xian Jianxi. Director, there are too many martial arts masters now. If we send out the divine guards to suppress them, if we can't suppress them, the majesty of the royal family will be damaged. I think we should wait and see. Lan Jiacheng put down the secret letter in his hand and said. But these assassins openly assassinated Emperor Wu Hao, which is completely provoking the majesty of the court. If we don't stop it, where is the majesty of the court? Miran Qingchen continued. You have to believe in the strength of Marquis Wu. Marquis Wu suppressed the assassins by himself, which is a complete enhancement of the majesty of our court. Moreover, it should be the Zenfusi that handles these things, not my Xian Jianxi. Lan Jiacheng said slowly. Master, now we should pay attention to the new forces that have emerged in recent years, such as Xian'ai Pavilion, Qinglanghu, Netherworld, Yanluo Palace, and find out their details. Lan Jiacheng's tone slightly increased when he mentioned Qinglanghu. These suddenly appearing and powerful forces are the biggest threat to the dynasty. It is unlikely that you can rely on the people in the Zenfusi to find out the details of these forces. I have successfully arranged for someone to enter Yanluo Palace. I believe that after a while, we will be able to receive information about Yanluo Palace. Lan Jiacheng said. From the tone of his voice, he didn't care too much about what happened in the capital. He was concerned about the emerging forces that suddenly emerged. Since Deputy Supervisor Lan wants to investigate these forces, then the affairs of these forces will be entirely handled by Deputy Supervisor Lan. I will not bother Deputy Supervisor Lan. After saying this, Miran Qingchen left the palace. After Miran Qingchen left, a man in black came out from the dark. Deputy Supervisor, Princess Miran thinks differently from Master Zhu. She understands everything, but wants to change everything. This is not good news. The man in black said in a deep voice. No matter what she does, as long as I control the power of the Divine Guard and don't move, she can't do anything she wants to do. Lan Jiacheng looked indifferent. I asked you to prepare the Indian herb. How are you doing? Lan Jiacheng looked at the man in black and said, it's already on the way to the capital. Once this batch of Indian herb arrives, we will collect some corpses of Jianghu masters, and the power of the Divine Guard will definitely increase a lot. The man in black said excitedly. The person who fought with Emperor Wu Hao is not a simple person. I suspect it might be the work of Zenwu Garden. Zenwu Garden has been studying physical strength for many years, and seems to have made some achievements. We should find a way to investigate. Lan Jiacheng said in a deep voice. In Zenwu Garden, the person who did this should be the general manager Qin Juilin. Others probably don't know much about this matter. The man in black frowned slightly. Doesn't Sima Yun handle miscellaneous matters in Zenwu Garden all year round? He must know something. We may be able to learn something by arresting him. Lan Jiacheng said. The man in black in front of him frowned slightly. He understood that Lan Jiacheng meant to take action against Sima Yun. I will arrange this matter, but I may not be able to get Sima Yun alive. The man in black then said so. It doesn't matter if he's not alive. Hasn't Zenwu Garden been in a bit of a mess recently? 2 stewards died, and it's normal for the 3rd steward to die. I really want to see Qin Juilun's furious look. Lan Jiacheng stood up and slowly walked out of the palace. Inside the palace, the man in black looked at Lan Jiacheng and left. After thinking for a moment, he turned around and left. On a road to the money gang in the capital, a large carriage was moving slowly forward. Inside the carriage, Simi-yun was sitting upright with a serious look in his eyes. Shi Han-sao was killed by Yan Shizhen, and Jin Fi-han was also killed by someone in the money gang. The money gang changed hands to a man named Chang Wen-hee. He had never heard of this person before, but behind this person stood the 12th prince and the Grand Master's mansion, which made Simi-yun a little afraid. It's just that the other party killed Jin Fi-han. Jin Fi-han is a steward of Zhenwu Garden, so he has to come to the money gang, no matter what, to meet Chang Wen-hee. I didn't expect that the changes in the capital would start from my Zhenwu Garden. Simi-yun thought to himself. Suddenly, Simi-yun's face changed, and his figure rushed out of the carriage. Bang! The moment he rushed out of the carriage, a huge figure hit his carriage, and with a bang, the whole carriage was smashed into pieces. The horse pulling the carriage let out a roar and wanted to escape forward, but was caught by a huge hand and pressed hard on the ground. It roared a few times and then died. Dust flew, and pedestrians on the roadside quickly fled in all directions. The smoke and dust gradually disappeared, revealing the wreckage of the carriage and the horse corpse lying on the ground. There was also a fat man standing on it. The fat man wore a red-black mask on his face, revealing his ferocious eyes, looking for death. Simi-yun saw this and shouted, raising his hand. At this time, a cold light flashed behind him, like lightning across the air, and instantly appeared behind him. It was a man holding a sword, wearing green clothes and a red-black mask on his face. He was in the same group as the fat man. The sword energy broke through the airflow, forming an astonishing sword energy storm. In addition to the fast speed, Simi-yun had no choice but to backhand to resist the attack. Bang! The palm stretched out, and the powerful energy collided with the sword energy. The man with the sword was directly shocked by the energy and flew backwards. With this little strength, you want to assassinate me? Simi-yun's eyes were sharp, and his figure soared into the air, like an eagle's claw, grabbing the other's head. Boom. At this moment, the fat man on the wreckage kicked the ground with his foot, shot out violently, and his palm was black, and he slapped Simi-yun with one palm. However, Simi-yun did not pay attention to the palm behind him. The palm continued to slap the sword-holding man who was shocked away by him. Snap! The sword-wielding man was unable to dodge, and was hit on the head by Simi-yun's palm. His head was smashed like a watermelon. Red and white mixed together and splashed out. The mask on his face fell off, revealing an ordinary face. But at this moment, the fat man's palm fell behind Simi-yun, and a huge energy appeared behind Simi-yun to resist the fat man's palm. Seeing this, the fat man roared, and a stream of blood rushed into his arm. His arm quickly expanded and pressed hard on the energy. Chapter 597. Simi-yun was seriously injured and disappeared. Huang Xiangxing went to ask for punishment. The powerful force collided with the Qi gang. A wave of Qi was formed, spreading in all directions. The blow failed to break the Qi gang. Seeing this, the fat man raised his palm, changed his palm into a claw, and grabbed the Qi gang fiercely. Swish, swish. A gap appeared in Simi-yun's Qi gang under the sharp blade. But at this time, Simi-yun turned around and punched out with his palm. His fist collided with the palm that penetrated the Qi gang. Bang! The fat man was shocked and retreated. Boom! He stepped on the ground suddenly to stabilize his body. Who are you? Simi-yun looked at the fat man and asked coldly. But what he saw was the other party's grinning eyes. Boom! The other party stepped on the ground again, and the ground cracked, forming a huge deep pit, and his body turned into a blurred after image and rushed over. Kill you. Although he was fat, he was extremely fast. He appeared in front of Simi-yun almost instantly, opened his palm, and grabbed Simi-yun fiercely. Simi-yun moved his feet, and the opponent's 5 fingers passed through his face. He could hear the whistling sound of the opponent's palm tearing the air. The attack missed. The fat man turned his palm suddenly, and continued to grab Simi-yun's head. Simi-yun's eyes condensed, and his body leaped, turning into a residual image, avoiding the attack, with a sharp cold light in his eyes. Originally, he wanted to keep this person alive to see if he could find out where the 2 people came from the other party. But the opponent's attack was ruthless. Then there was no need to hold back. Boom. The aura of the Danshan transformation sea realm burst out at this moment, and a terrifying aura burst out from him, and a terrifying and violent aura filled the air. Seeing this, the fat man who attacked from the opposite side paused and pointed his fingers at the key points of his body. The blood and ki in his body began to circulate rapidly, and his body instantly became red. The originally fat body began to shrink and turned into a terrifying physical strength. Under this rapid force of blood and ki, the fat man burst out with power and pressed directly against Sima Yun. Boom. The two men shot out at the same time, fighting frantically, and the airflow around them was constantly torn and exploded. The violent airflow formed waves of air that spread in all directions, and the surrounding dust flew. Some nearby buildings began to collapse. Pedestrians retreated far away, watching the fight between the two sides. The fat man circulated his blood and ki to fight against Sima Yun's ki. After each fight, the fat man's blood and ki were consumed, and a stream of ki entered his body, shaking his meridians. It was about to break his meridians. I want to see how many palms your body can withstand from me. Sima Yun shouted, and his momentum became more violent. The fat man's figure was suppressed by Sima Yun and kept retreating, appearing in front of a collapsed house. Boom. Suddenly, a figure rushed out of the collapsed house. The figure rushed out and pointed a finger at Sima Yun's chest. A bloody and evil ki burst out from his fingers and hit the ki on Sima Yun's body. Bang. With a muffled groan, Sima Yun's body shook, and he took a few steps back. A blood mark appeared on his chest. At this time, the fat man who had attacked earlier punched out with a huge force, instantly exploding the air, forming an air wave to attack Sima Yun. Sima Yun's face changed, and he moved his injured body and retreated backwards. Boom, the fat man's fist landed on the ground, and a huge deep pit appeared on the ground. The fat man, who failed to hit the target, did not stop at all. He threw his hands at Sima Yun. On the other side, the figure of the man who appeared turned into a black shadow and attacked Sima Yun's lower body. Sima Yun roared and punched wildly. Boom boom, the Kijin hit the ground like a cannonball, forming a huge deep pit and raising a cloud of dust. Swish. In the smoke and dust, a hot sword light appeared, and the sword light pierced Sima Yun's back like lightning. The sword light penetrated the Kijin. Sima Yun moved his body and tried to avoid the sword, but the speed of movement was a little slow, and the opponent's long sword pierced his shoulder, and the sword energy burst out and penetrated his shoulder. A stream of blood spurted out. Sima Yun felt pain. At this time, the other two people had already attacked in front of him. The fat man's fist hit his chest. Another person grabbed his injured shoulder with his palm. Swish. The arm under the injured shoulder was torn apart. Ah! Sima Yun screamed. Then his whole body was knocked back by the power of the fat man's fist. At this time, the last person who drew the sword fell on Sima Yun, and his palm clawed out, directly breaking Sima Yun's two legs and the remaining arm, grabbing his body, and quickly rushed into the street alley. The fat man and another person grabbed the body of the previous man on the ground and headed towards another alley. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared in front of everyone. In the money gang, Shangwen Jinhang got the news that Sima Yun was on the way and was thinking about how to deal with Sima Yun. Sima Yun's strength was like a sea of Danshan. Shangwen Jinhang had obtained 20 years of cultivation in the heavenly realm and also stepped into this level. He didn't care much about Sima Yun, but Sima Yun should come here on behalf of Zhenwu Garden this time. The masters behind him haven't arrived yet, so he has to delay for a few days. Yuan Suan has already sent him a letter. Yao Yu, the deputy pavilion master of the southern pavilion, is on the way here. Yao Yu's strength is concentrated in the sea. According to the itinerary, he will arrive in 2 days. As soon as he arrives, he will restore the name Shangwen Jinhang. At this time, a figure rushed in. It was Madame Yu who went to inquire about the news. At this time, Madame Yu's face was solemn. Is Sima Yun here? Looking at Madame Yu with a solemn expression, Shangwen Jinhang asked in a deep voice. Sima Yun was attacked and seriously injured on the way here and was finally taken away by the people who attacked him. Madame Yu said. Hearing this, Shangwen Jinhang frowned slightly. Sima Yun was attacked and taken away seriously on the way to Money Gang. No matter how you look at it, they don't want the other party to come to Money Gang. Now, only Shangwen Jinhang and his people don't want the other party to come to Money Gang. Could it be the 12th prince and the people from the Grand Tutor's mansion who did it? Madam, you asked. It shouldn't be them. Shangwen Jinhang shook his head. Although the 12th prince and the Grand Tutor's mansion sent people to help him kill Jin Fihang, they would never be so blatant to severely injure Sima Yun and take Sima Yun away. When Shangwen Jinhang shook his head, Huang Xiangxing rushed in and looked at Shangwen Jinhang with gloomy eyes. Shangwen He, did you do Sima Yun's thing? What do you want to do? Huang Xiangxing asked for culpability. I just found out about this matter. Sima Yun's matter has nothing to do with me. And Manager Huang, don't come to ask for culpability next time. If so, you don't have to show up in my money gang in the future. Shangwen Jinhang said with a gloomy face. He would not let the other party be so arrogant in front of him. Chapter 598 Shangwen Jinhang's Tyranny. Take the body back. Ask for monthly votes. Seeing this, Huang Xiangxing's face also became gloomy, and he said in a cold voice, Shangwen He, you must know that you can become the leader of the money gang with our help, and you can change people at any time. He wants to control Shangwen Jinhang. If he can't control Shangwen Jinhang at this time, later, they will not be able to gradually erode the money gang. Pang Dashao helped Shangwen Jinhang not just for the quarter of the profit, but for the entire money gang. Of course, he came here this time because he got the news that Sima Yun was attacked on the way to the money gang. He thought it was arranged by Shangwen He, so he came to test it. Because if Shangwen He has such a manpower, it is not good news for them. However, he just knew from the change in Shangwen Jinhang's face that those people had nothing to do with Shangwen Jinhang. Change me, Huang Xiangxing, do you have that ability? Shangwen Jinhang's eyes were cold, and a murderous intent condensed on him. Although Deputy Pavilion Master Yao Yu has not yet arrived in the capital, their power in the dark of the capital has increased a lot. He, Mirren Fu, Bai Chaofi, the three of them have increased their own strength. In addition, there are three people, Yajiu Tajiman Okami, Yan Shizan and Fu Hangsu, who are concentrating in the sea. This force is not weak. He no longer needs to be afraid of the Grand Master's mansion and the 12th prince. Sensing the murderous intention of Shangwen Jinhang, Huang Xiangxing's eyes turned cold. He knew Shangwen Jinhang's strength very well. A person who didn't even reach the 9 difficulties of heaven and man actually wanted to kill him. He was really looking for death. He was a strong man who had entered the Danshan transformation sea. Shangwen He, you are really arrogant. Today I will let you know that in front of the strong, you can only obey. Huang Xiangxing, while speaking, moved his body and appeared in front of Shangwen Jinhang. A palm with a terrifying airwave slapped Shangwen Jinhang. Shangwen, Madam Yu in the house changed her expression and showed worry on her face. Huang Xiangxing's strength is Danshan transformation C. Shangwen Jinhang is not his opponent. However, at this moment, Shangwen Jinhang's aura changed, and the energy of the Danshan turned into a sea of energy instantly burst out, and the terrifying energy burst out from him. The same palm slapped out. Boom. The palms of the two people collided, and a terrifying airwave formed and spread to the surroundings. Huang Xiangxing, who had made the move, was shaken by the energy and flew backwards, landing in the courtyard outside the hall. He stepped on the ground several times before he stabilized his body. He looked at Shangwen Jinhang, who walked out of the hall with energy bursting out, with horror. Teach me a lesson, Huang Xiangxing, you don't have the ability to do so. I'm not a dog like you who wags its tail and begs for mercy. After today, you, the Taishi Mansion, don't think about getting any benefits from here. As Shangwen Jinhang spoke, his aura surged, and a domineering aura rushed to the sky. He, Shangwen Jinhang, was a generation of overlords. Previously, his strength was not enough, but now his strength has stepped into the Danshan turned into a sea of energy, and with a dragon and phoenix golden ring in his hand, he can fight, even if ordinary people with concentrated spirits come. Why should he care about Huang Xiangxing, a lackey? Shangwen He, you are looking for death. Huang Xiangxing's eyes became ferocious. Shangwen Jinhang actually called him a running dog. Although Shangwen Jinhang's aura burst out, which surprised him, he was only at the Danshan transformation sea realm, and he was just not using all his strength when he attacked, so he was knocked out by the opponent. A cold energy appeared in his palm, and his body moved, shooting violently at Shangwen Jinhang. He rushed in front of Shangwen Jinhang with a ferocious look in his eyes and slammed out fiercely with the palm. In cracking palm, the cold energy burst out, forming a terrifying cold energy wave. Shangwen Jinhang's eyes turned cold and his palm also slapped out. His energy was extremely strong and the energy in his palm was like the sun. Boom! A huge explosion swept out from the place where they fought. Shangwen Jinhang's figure only retreated slightly, while Huang Xiangxing's body was shaken and fell into the courtyard again. The stones under his feet were all crushed by him. The energy on his body rolled, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. The arm that was in contact with Shangwen Jinhang fell down, the sleeve burst, the blood vessels burst, and drops of blood flowed out from the burst blood vessels. Shangwen He, you hid well enough. Today I will report to the young master and have someone kill you. Huang Xiangxing growled. At this moment, a grey figure appeared behind him. The figure did not say any nonsense. The long sword in his hand was drawn, and the sword light was violent, like a rain of swords, and it slashed out like thunder. Huang Xiangxing was facing Shangwen Jinhang's roar, not paying attention to the back, but instinctively felt that there was an attack behind him. He turned his head and saw the sword light rushing towards him. He raised his hand to resist, but the blood vessels in his right arm burst, and he could not attack, so he could only attack with his left arm. But the violent sword light did not give him any mental preparation. The sword light slashed down and tore the qigong that was rising urgently on his body. A sword mark was left in front of Huang Xiangxing's face, and the sword energy rushed in and shattered Huang Xiangxing's forehead. Huang Xiangxing looked unwilling. He fell straight to the ground. The one who attacked was Jing Wuming. He would not allow anyone who attacked Shangwen Jinhang to live. He retracted his long sword and grabbed the other person's body. He walked out of the money gang and threw Huang Xiangxing's body out of the gate. He said to the carriage driver, "Take your steward Huang's body back." His voice was cold, and he turned around and returned to the money gang. Outside the gate, Huang Xiangxing's driver looked at the body thrown on the ground. The back and clothes looked a bit like Steward Huang. He got off the carriage and came to the body and turned it over. His face was pale and his body couldn't help but fall to the ground. Then he quickly stood up, picked up Huang Xiangxing's body, put it in the carriage, and drove the carriage away from the money gang quickly. Steward Huang's death was like the sky falling down for him. Inside a mansion, a young man in white clothes, with a majestic figure, long hair hanging down to his shoulders, like ink, and a face, as if carved by a knife and an axe, was lying in the arms of a woman with eyebrows as light as smoke, eyes as watery, and black hair. The woman was peeling a green grape and putting it into the mouth of the young man in her arms. The young man stretched out his hand, grabbed the other's snow-like palm, hugged the other in his arms, and began to move his palm. But at this time, there was a hurried sound outside. The young man's face became cold, but he still let go of the woman and said, "Come in." A servant walked in from the door trembling with fear. "Master, the manager Huang of the money gang was killed and the body was sent back," the servant said hurriedly. His face was a little pale when he spoke. Hearing this, the half-lying young man suddenly stood up from the woman and came to the servant with a gloomy face. "You said that Steward Huang's body was sent back from the money gang." "Yes, the body was thrown out by Jing Yui from the money gang," the servant replied immediately. "Take me to see it." Hearing this, the young man walked out of the courtyard without looking back. This young man was Pang Tong, the great young master. Chapter 599, Multiple Dynamics, Zenwu Garden, Rain Comes. In the large courtyard, Huang Xiangxing's body was placed on the ground. Next to the body stood a skinny old man in green. The old man was carefully examining Huang Xiangxing's body, his gloomy triangular eyes flashing with brilliance from time to time. When Pang Tong appeared in the courtyard, the skinny old man came to Pang Tong and said, "Master, Manager Huang must have fought with someone first, and his blood and ki was shaken, so he was injured, and finally he was killed by the sudden sword light. What else?" Pang Tong's previous angry expression had become calm. "The traces of sword energy, I checked and it should be done by Jing Yui of the money gang. It was also this person who threw Manager Huang's body out of the money gang and asked the driver to bring it back," the skinny old man said. "Does the 12th prince have master in the money gang?" Pang Tong frowned slightly. Huang Xiangxing went to the money gang. He knew that he was going to ask about the attack and kidnapping of Sima Yun, the manager of Zhenwu Garden, and to suppress the money gang, by the way. But now the money gang sent out the body of manager Huang. It was beyond his expectation, and only the people of the 12th prince dared to kill manager Huang, so he asked if there were any people of the 12th prince in the money gang. Young master, I have investigated and found that there were no people of the 12th prince in the money gang at that time. I suspect that there was a master beside Shangwen He, whose strength should be at the level of Dunshan Huahei, otherwise, there would be no need to attack him. The skinny old man said, young master, this Shangwen He is really looking for death. He dared to kill manager Huang. My 4 brothers will kill him. On one side of the courtyard, 4 figures walked out. The leader was a tall man with a face full of flesh, and his aura was violent. The boss of the 4 evil men under Pang Tong was evil Xianba. Hearing what Xianba said, Pang Tong stared at Huang Xiangxing's body, and after thinking for a moment, he said, Shangwen He has been planning the money gang for so long, and he dares to kill people at this time. He must have something to rely on. Old Liu, you go and investigate this matter first, and we will take action after the investigation. Pang Tong said in a deep voice. Something must be wrong when things are abnormal. Now there are a lot of strong people coming from the capital, and he has to be on guard. I will investigate it clearly. The skinny old man saluted and left. Shangwen He, it's interesting. I really want to see what your confidence is. When I find out, I will tear you into pieces. Pang Tong's face showed a ferocious look when he spoke. Then he said to a housekeeper not far away, please make an appointment with the 12th prince for me. I will go to test the 12th prince's mouth and see if this matter has anything to do with him. At this time, on a towering pavilion, the 12th prince, wearing a purple brocade robe, was standing in the corridor of the pavilion, looking at the bustling street in front of him. Your Highness, I just got the news that Shangwen He killed Huang Xiangxing and asked Huang Xiangxing's driver to send the body to Pang Tong's mansion. Hang Eluo of the Shadow Gate said beside the 12th prince Liu He. Hearing Hang Eluo's words, the 12th prince showed a trace of doubt on his face and said, it broke up so quickly. Shangwen He has a trump card. Do you know who killed Huang Xiangxing? The 12th prince Liu He was interested in this. Investigated clearly. It was Shangwen He himself who attacked. Shangwen He's real strength is in the Danshan Huahei. The true energy in his body is stronger than Huang Xiangxing. The two confronted each other, and Shangwen Jinhan completely suppressed Huang Xiangxing. The last one to attack and kill Huang Xiangxing was Jingyi. As expected, the attack was fatal. That Jingyi's sword was very fast and sharp. Hang Eluo recounted what happened in the money gang. Shangwen He did not avoid anyone when killing Huang Xiangxing, so Hang Eluo could find out what happened in the money gang by asking around. Shangwen He hid himself well enough. I underestimated him. He relied on his own strength. Pang Tong suffered such a big loss. He should have sent someone to take action. The 12th prince Liu He said. Pang Tong did not move. He just sent someone to investigate. Is that so? He is still as cautious as ever. The 12th prince looked a little disappointed. He hoped that Pang Tong would explore the way for him and see if Shangwen He had any other cards. At this time, a maid in green came to the corridor. Your Highness, Pang Tong said he wanted to see you. Hearing the maid's words, the 12th prince Liu He's expression slightly moved. He is here to explore my bottom line. Reply to him. I'm here to wait for him to come. The 12th prince Liu He said. The maid bowed and left. Sima Yun was kidnapped. Have you found any traces? After the maid left, the 12th prince Liu He asked. The matter of the money gang is not a big deal. Now the Zhenwu Garden manager Sima Yun was attacked and killed on the spot and was taken away with serious injuries. This is the important matter. He disappeared very quickly, leaving no trace, and the person who attacked him has not appeared. Hang Eluo said here with a solemn expression. Has Zhenwu Garden provoked a strong enemy? So many people are watching. Liu He murmured. Now 3 managers of Zhenwu Garden have been in trouble. In a pavilion in Zhenwu Garden, the 3 sons of Zhenwu Garden, Yang Yanlin, Mu Yuanping, and Mu Qingxuan are gathering together. Just got the news that manager Sima was attacked and taken away with serious injuries on the way to Money Gang, and his whereabouts are unknown now. Mu Yuanping said in a deep voice. They have been investigating the reason why Emperor Wu Hao searched Zhenwu Garden, but there has been no progress. The entry and exit of Emperor Wu Hao's mansion are now very strict. Can't find anything at all, so they want to change their thinking and focus on Money Gang. Emperor Wu Hao searched for changes in Zhenwu Garden and Money Gang. Although they were two lines, they happened at the same time. Or it could be said that Shang Wenyi of Money Gang became the leader of Money Gang with the help of the changes in Zhenwu Garden. They could not get clues from Emperor Wu Hao, so they wanted to see if they could find some useful clues from Money Gang. Now Sima Yun was attacked on the way to Money Gang. This Shang Wenyi is very suspicious. We can definitely get some clues from him. I think we should go directly to Money Gang to find Shang Wenyi. Mu Yuanping said. Then Yan Shizhen should be invited by Shang Wenyi. We should go directly to Money Gang to find Shang Wenyi. Mu Qingxuan nodded. The matter between Yan Shizhen and the Money Gang is in charge of General Manager Qin. If we go to the Money Gang, should we tell General Manager Qin? Yang Yanlan frowned slightly. You are no match for Shang Wenyi. Shang Wenyi has hidden his strength. His strength is at the level of Danshan Transformation C. He just killed Huang Xiangxing, a subordinate of Pang Tong who had previously cooperated with him. He is ruthless and decisive. If you go to find him, you may be in danger. At this time, Qin Zhuan pushed the door and walked in, speaking. Uncle Qin, you mean that Shang Wenyi's strength is at the level of Danshan Transformation C? Was it him who caused Sima's accident? Yang Yanlan said. It shouldn't be Shang Wenyi's fault. Recently, someone is targeting our Zhenwu Garden, and the momentum is very strong. Yanlan, try not to leave Zhenwu Garden. Recently Qin Zhuan turned around and left without saying much. Now Zhenwu Garden feels like a storm is coming. But Zhenwu Garden is still safe. Chapter 600, Killing the God with One Sword. Snow falls on the earth. Qin Zhuan stepped out of the pavilion and came to the meeting room. Now in the meeting room, the master of Xian Sheng Hall and the white-haired old man surnamed Ik, both of them sat on wooden chairs with gloomy faces. Seeing Qin Zhuan entering the hall, General Manager, now someone is dealing with us. Zhenwu Garden, how should we arrange it? The white-haired old man surnamed Ik said in a deep voice. Now the situation is very clear. Someone is attacking them. Zhenwu Garden. They have to make arrangements. Are there any clues about the whereabouts of Sima Guanxi? Qin Zhuan looked at the master of Xian Sheng Hall. Zhenwu Garden has always been handled by the master of Xian Sheng Hall. The master of Xian Sheng Hall shook his head and said, there is no clue. I have commissioned some dark channels in the capital to investigate, and I believe that we will get the news soon. General Manager, we are in a passive situation now. If this situation is not solved, I believe it will be a crisis for my Zhenwu Garden. I ask the chief steward to dispatch the strong men who have concentrated their minds in the sea of Zhenwu Garden to take down the Money Gang in the open, said the white-haired old man named Kwa. No information could be found in other places, so they could only take action against Shang Wenyi, the member of the Money Gang in the open. The Money Gang is indeed a good breakthrough point, and it can also play a deterrent role, but he was previously Chief Khan's property. Before you take action, you should communicate with Chief Khan first. If he has no other arrangements, I will go to the Money Gang in person and kill Shang Wenyi, the leader of the Money Gang. A terrifying aura burst out from Qin Zhuan. He has been the chief steward of Zhenwu Garden for 10 years and has not taken any action. Some people have forgotten how terrifying Qin Zhuan is. Subordinates, go to see young Master Khan immediately. The white-haired old man named Kwa stood up, saluted and left. After the old man named Kwa left, the head of Xian Sheng Hall stood up. Chief Steward, it seems that old Kwa has completely surrendered to Chief Khan. Will this be very disadvantageous to the young Garden Master? Chief Khan has an extraordinary background, so it is normal for old Kwa to join him. But this does not affect the young master becoming the master of the Zhenwu Garden, and Chief Khan should agree that I will take action against the Money Gang. When you have time, tell the 12th Prince and Pang Tong not to interfere in the affairs of the Money Gang. If you interfere, you will be an enemy of my Zenwu Garden. I will personally kill the 3 people who attacked Jin Fihang. Qin Juan said in a domineering tone. I will notify them. The master of Xiansheng Hall saluted and left. At this time, Mirren Qingshan, who was dressed in a tight suit, appeared in the pavilion of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. You sent me a message saying that I can take action against Lan Jiacheng? Mirren Qingshan said. Yes, but Miss Mirren needs to provide some clues about Lan Jiacheng. Bai Chaofei said. Now there is a chance to take action. Sima Yun was severely injured and kidnapped today. It was arranged by Lan Jiacheng. The person is in a secret house outside the city. He will go to the dark house tonight. It is a chance for the Green Dragon Society to make a move. However, Lan Jiacheng is very powerful. There is only one chance. If we cannot get rid of him in one time, there will be no more chances. Mirren Qingshan said in a deep voice. Miss Mirren, don't worry. I will inform the people from the Green Dragon Society about these situations. Bai Chaofei said. His heart was slightly moved. He did not expect that the one who kidnapped Sima Yun would be Lan Jiacheng of the Xianjian division. Lan Jiacheng did not kill anyone, but just took him away with severe injuries. He should want to know something from Sima Yun. That's troublesome. Mirren Qingshan came quickly and left quickly. Night Sky Jianxia Palace. A man in black appeared in front of Lan Jiacheng. Deputy Supervisor Lan, the commander sent a message saying that there were important discoveries in the interrogation of Sima Yun and asked you to go to the dark house in person. The man in black bowed and said, there are important discoveries and I have to go there in person. Lan Jiacheng's expression moved slightly, a look of joy appeared on his face, and he waved his hand and said, I know, I'll go there right away. After that, he left the palace alone. On a tall building, Mirren Qingshan, dressed in black, watched Lan Jiacheng leaving the palace alone. I have become the chief of the Xianjiansi. I'm the master of the Xianjiansi. You should not openly disobey my orders. Mirren Qingshan murmured. Late at night, there were only night watchmen on the road. Lan Jiacheng restrained his breath, blended into the darkness, and quickly went out of the city. The tall city walls seemed nothing in front of him. On a dense forest path outside the city, Lan Jiacheng moved forward at a high speed. Suddenly, several black lights shot towards him like a meteor. Lan Jiacheng moved his body and turned into an afterimage to avoid the meteor-like black light. The several black lights were nailed to a big tree behind him. Looking in that direction, his eyes condensed slightly. Overseas, Ingman Cune. Lan Jiacheng paused and looked around. Suddenly, a figure rushed out from a tree trunk not far behind him, followed by an extremely sharp knife light in the opponent's hand. With a slash of the knife, sword energy and murderous intent condensed into a line, instantly appeared behind Lan Jiacheng. A mere trick, a Hunyuan golden body. Lan Jiacheng sneered, and a layer of ki appeared on his body. He slapped his palm and collided with the knife light. Boom. The palm collided with the knife light, and a powerful explosion sounded. The man who drew the knife was shocked and retreated several steps. Lan Jiacheng looked at the man who attacked him. He was dressed in black, wearing a bamboo hat on his head, holding a long knife in his hand, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. There was no fluctuation in his expression, because he didn't kill him with one blow. It was Yajayu Tajima no Kami. The attack was silent and the knife was extremely sharp. A strong man in the Danshinhua realm probably couldn't hold up the defense at all. But unfortunately, your opponent is me. Overseas, Ingman, were you sent by Dugu for me? Lan Jiacheng looked at Yajayu Tajima no Kami who was wearing a bamboo hat and said. Yajayu Tajima no Kami said nothing. He held the long sword in his hands with both hands. The aura around him condensed and poured into the long sword in his hand. He moved his feet suddenly, and his body instantly flew into the air. His black robe fluttered, and an incomparably domineering sword energy burst out from the long sword in his hand. The killing god slashed with one sword. Before the voice fell, a dazzling sword light like a silk thread pierced through the sky, and it went towards Lan Jiacheng with the force of splitting the rivers and seas. Humph. Lan Jiacheng snorted coldly. He clenched his palm into a fist and punched out. This punch was earth-shattering, and the domineering sword energy of Yajayu Tajima no Kami collapsed instantly. Snow is falling on the earth at this moment. a white figure appeared, slashed with a sword, and a cold sword intent permeated. White snow appeared on the summer night. Lan Jiacheng instantly heard the sound of a sword in his ears. Turning his head, he saw a grey sword energy slashing down from the air, tearing the air, and whistling down. There was a hint of surprise in his eyes. The palm that was originally prepared to pursue the victory was retracted, and his hands were clasped together to shatter the sword light, and his palms turned, and he slapped the white shadow that had shot out. Bang! The palm hit the opponent's shoulder. The white shadow was instantly shocked and flew backwards, and the long sword in his hand fell to the ground. Seeing this, Lan Jiacheng sneered at the corner of his mouth, and his feet suddenly exploded. Bang! His figure shot out violently, and instantly his palm grabbed the white shadow. Boom! His palm fell, but it landed on the ground. The white shadow just fell and disappeared. The attack missed. Lan Jiacheng's face changed, and his eyes scanned the surroundings. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.